Arts Council meeting in order. We're going to have the prayer by Councilwoman Patty, and after roll call. No, we're going to roll call first.
I'm sorry.
Edwards present.
You missed a vote, Mr. Edwards. You got to vote.
It's okay. Verbal.
We have 8 council members present. Dr. Gu is out. Now we stand for the prayer by Councilwoman Patty.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Heavenly Father, we come before you with heavy hearts as we mourn the tragic loss and life in the devastated aircraft collision in Washington, D.C. We lift up to you the souls of those who perished, the talented figure skaters, the Olympians who inspired us, and the brave military personnel who served our nation with honor. May you grant them eternal rest and welcome them with your heavenly embrace. Lord, we ask you to bring comfort and strength to the families and loved ones who bear the weight of the sorrow. Surround them with your love and grant them peace in the midst of their grief. May you find solace, or may they find solace, in the legacy and memories of the loved ones they have lost. We also offer our deepest gratitude for the service and sacrifice of our military personnel, who have dedicated their lives to protecting our country. We ask to bless those who serve and the active military that currently serve, and give them courage and wisdom for all of their missions. May this moment remind us of the precious life, the unity of our nation, and the call and support of one another in times of tragedy. As we stand together in remembrance, we ask all gathered here and at home to observe a moment of silence in honor of the lives lost. With hearts full of gratitude and reverence, we now join in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I know. I'm just overtaken.
We'll hold off on the executive session. We got a proclamation you want to?
Executive session.
That's going to be passed over.
Did I pass over that one?
Yes.
Proclamations. Are we deferring that one, or is it being read? Okay. A proclamation declaring January the 9th, 2025 as South Plaquemines High Day in the parish of Plaquemines.
Oh, I'm
Defer.
sorry. I'm sorry, yes.
That one will be deferred. Administration updates.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Just a quick update. It seems like our update today is going to be water, water, water. I'd like to just thank everybody and all the collaboration that we had between the sheriff's office, the school board, and EMS, and our fire for all that they did throughout this process during this storm Enzo. I'd like to send out a gratitude. There's some gentlemen on the southern end of the parish in the Boothville, Venice area. They took it upon themselves to work on cleaning off the highway, the snow, the day after the storm passed through. Venture Global would like to give them a shout out. And also Venture Global, they cleared the roads from Barrier Road down to PMC and along Woodland Highway. And would like to give some gratitude to Plenary for keeping the bridge open throughout the whole process as well. A shout out to Infomark. I'd like to bring Robert up, if you would, just to let you know that he had some gentlemen that were running around with their new system. Come up, you got some guys you want to introduce and just recognize here. Then we'll let you sit down, and then we'll bring you back.
Robert, before Robert come up, I called Robert and I asked Robert to please bring the employees in here today. Many of y'all know I went on Facebook because these employees, it was snow, it was on the ground, and we got water because of them. And I thought it was very important. Oftentimes, as a public, we don't think these hard-working people. And so I really pleaded with Robert to bring these people here today. So when they come up, I'm asking all of us to stand on our feet and give these workers a round of applause for the enormous work they did through the snowstorm. And on behalf of this council, we just want, and I think all of us really honor your sacrifice work. We don't get a chance to tell you this. We brought you here today to tell you your work is not going unnoticed. Because I know what I had to go through just to prepare my house to leave home. It wasn't no near what you all had to do after the snowstorm. So we just here united to saying that we appreciate the enormous work that you did to being on the ground in the snow to give us water. So I just want to say that on behalf of the council and Mr. Roberts.
Yeah.
Thank you. First, I want to thank the residents of Plaquemines Parish and the council and administration. I know we had some touch and go there for a moment, but we did do our best to try to meet everybody's needs. We did over 300 residents trying to cut them off to try to save some water, and then we had some residents that didn't know they had leaks, and we went around and tried to assist them and helping them turn off the water for the many calls that we had. We had some employees that didn't make it to work. We had some gentlemen from the East Bank that wasn't able to get across the bridge, but we did have two operators from the East Bank, and Kendrick crew was from down the road, and Gerald crew from up the road. But it was pretty much touch and go. Wade Terrence, Gerald Ankelard, Billy Trader, Kendrick, and Jonathan and Trent. So all these guys, they was instrumental to keeping us whole, and we thank y'all. So thank you for being patient with us. And that's pretty much it. I don't know if y'all, each one of y'all want to talk to me or whatever.
Yeah, no, gentlemen, you all can sit down, but I hope you will stand.
Okay. Yeah.
Because one of the, thank you, employee. But Robert, can you just, one of the other reasons why my email that we sent to you on behalf of the council is for you, not only for us as a council, the whole general public, just give us the state of how you see the weakness and strengthness of our water system. And I think some council members might want to have some questions.
I got to go get my notes. This is kind of.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, okay.
Well, that's good. I was going to start bringing up, because we have some other gentlemen in the audience. We got Robert, we've got Ken and Jonah here to explain where we are. We've got Robert Naughton and Anthony Goodjohn with Linfield Hunter to give us an update on the sewer and water master plan. To let you know there. Yeah, come on up, Jeff. I guess let's let Robert come up first, and then Robert, I'll get you and Anthony to come up and talk about the master plan, and then we'll get Jonah or Ken to let us know where we are with certain grants that and Jeff will be able to explain that as well. Grants that we're pursuing, grants that we have pursued, and just different findings that we've discovered on the water system. Robert?
Okay. Well, just speaking on in general, the weakness that we have in Plaquemines Parish in general is our transmission lines. So in general, the entire parish, our transmission lines are in dire needs of repair. So, and what I mean in repair is some of our lines are steel cast iron lines, and they need repair. And I would start, and don't get me wrong, like we have been in discussions. We have talked about these lines, and these lines starting with Braithway. start with Braithwaite. Those lines are something that we need to start on ASAP. And these lines have been identified and funding and things like that. And I'm gonna let Ken and them talk about that. But I would start in English Turn. English Turn is those lines have to be replaced. We Delco Water Plant we need to operate at a higher PSI. So English Turn. Marcus to Bertrandville, that water line, Stella Plantation, Promised Land, that water line. We have Port Sulphur 20-inch water line replacement. The Stinson to Cedar Grove, Stinson to Cedar Grove and Oakville. Replacement of the 10-inch water line, 12-inch water line from Cedar Grove to Ravina Road. That water line needs to be replaced. And also the increasing of a 6-inch and 8-inch water line from Civic Drive in Port Sulphur, that line. Let's see. St. Jude, Booster Station, Happy Jack to Penny D Highway. That line, that is a cast iron line that we need to keep in mind. So let me look at my other notes that I have. The transmission lines need to come first, in my opinion. Me, Jonah, and Ken, we have been, this is on our priority list. And then after the water lines have been identified for all the cast iron lines have to come first, in my opinion, because cast iron lines also impact our pressure. They impact our compliance. Anytime a line is cast iron, it dissipates our chlorine. And anytime the chlorine is dissipated in the lines, we have to flush more. I know y'all see some of the lines that we actively flushing, and the chlorine residual is easily dissipates in the line, so we have to flush more, and we have to maintain a 0.5 chlorine residual in the line per state regulation. So people see lines that's flushing and things like that, but that's also effective the cast iron line. And on the East Bank, it's a major problem. And I can't tell you how many brown water calls I get on the East Bank just for that reason. And at the Delcor Water Facility, the plant is not able to be operated at its full capacity because of the lines are so brittle. So I know Reverend Edwards, he gave me a call about that. Even Jeff, he texts me all the time. Billy, he texts me all the time about brown water complaints on the East Bank. So that's another reason. Those cast iron lines on the East Bank they need to be replaced. And we have some. I know Mr. Brock, he has bought some. It's different segments with those cast iron lines. And down south in Port Sulphur with Mitch, so those lines, you have to identify the cast iron lines first, and so we can actually move water and keep the pressure up. So after we identify the cast iron lines, we also need to talk about groundwater storage. Groundwater storage, elevated storage, things like that, and increasing the Belle Chase Water Facility. We are in process of increasing the Belle Chase Water Facility to 9 MGD, and in the process of increasing the Belle Chase Water Facility, we also will have Port Sulphur Water Facility going back to its normal range. So we'll have 12 MGD total in the parish, but what are we going to store the water? So we actually have to have groundwater storage or elevated tanks. So me and Jonah was talking about having someone look at elevated storage and groundwater tanks. But going back to saltwater intrusion, we need to get rid of all the ROs. We don't need to worry about saltwater intrusion anymore. So eliminating the ROs on the West Bank and the East Bank of the parish, increasing the Belle Chase Water Facility eventually to 15 MGD it needs to be on the list of things to do. But at the same time, going under the river, the under the river connection, the crossing to the East Bank. So once we the crossing under the river and increasing Bell Chase water facility to 15 MGD need to happen simultaneously, in my opinion. Now, I don't deal with the funding. I'm an operations guy and I do maintenance. So I think this is the time that, I need to get Ken Dugas up here and let him talk about the funding part. So that's in my opinion. Y'all got any questions, I'll take it.
Patty was first.
Hi, Ms. Morgan. I have a question about, well, first I wanted to thank everyone for pre-Snowmageddon help with the fire hydrant near the water plant, where it took out basically most of Bell Chase. I just wanted to thank you guys for working diligently on that as well. I have a question about the clay. I believe there are clay lines in Noble Manor. Is that correct?
We might have some. We might have some clay pipe. So, yes, I think we might have some clay pipe, but not much. I don't think any have been really identified lately.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know that one time they backflushed the lines in Noble Manor, and because I live at the end of the street, my refrigerator, wash machine, all that kind of stuff was full of clay. So are those lines sturdy? Are they good?
If it's clay, it's not. So I have to research that. If it's clay, it's not.
Okay. And I just have an announcement for, regarding water, for Liberty Street, that your water will be turned off tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for a while to fix a fire hydrant.
Yes, ma'am.
But you don't have to boil water. Thank you.
Yeah, I got hammered on that by Mr. Keefe, so he's still on that road.
Hey, Robert. One of the things I think we need to be looking at down the line too is increasing Port Sulphur, building something in Port Sulphur that can provide probably upwards of about 6 MGD. I think if we can get Port Sulphur with the plant in that area for 6 million gallons a day, I think it would be beneficial to the whole lower end. That way we wouldn't have to rely on Boothville when the saltwater wedge is moving up. Somewhere down the line, I'd like to see this added to the list as well.
I agree. We need some type of, I was thinking more of a storage, increasing, something to do with Port Sulphur. I know once Bell Chase is up to 15 MGD, we have to have somewhere to store that water. So that is in talks to have some type of storage container, or groundwater storage or tower on the southern end to have a backup for Boothville. So, but you're talking about somewhere in Port Sulphur?
Yeah.
Okay.
But another thing too is, as you said, groundwater storage or towers. In events like hurricanes and stuff like that, towers would probably be more beneficial because of flooding and stuff in that area.
Yeah. I also want to touch, I forgot to mention, when we wanted to boil water notice, I don't believe, my honest opinion, I really don't believe we would have had a boil water advisory in the parish if the car would have never hit the hydrant. But also some of the valves that we had did fail. So if we was able to valve that in, I really don't believe we would have had a boil water notice anywhere in Bell Chase. We was able to maintain on the East Bank. We did have some low pressure areas on the East Bank, but on the West Bank, we should have been able to maintain the pressure on the West Bank. And I take some fault of that. Infomark does take some of those valves did not hold the way they should. And even though the car did hit the hydrant, we should have been able to valve some lines in, and those valves actually fail. And I am going back, and I do have some valve replacement, and some of those valves are 60 to 70 years old. So I have Gerald, I have a maintenance crew, and I have with Kyle Associates water model, we are replacing valves, and I'm not happy about some of the valves did not seat. So some of the valves that should have held did not held, and we should have been able to bypass the where the accident happened, and we should have been able to still hold pressure in Bell Chase. So I'm not happy about that, and I am researching that because when the water model was actually completed, we was locating valves, and we had to prove to the state that we can actually push pressure all the way down the road, and those valves did not hold the way they should. And we actually had located some valves, and the valves we should have been able to push pressure. We should have been able to push water south, and we was able to maintain pressure for a little bit, but being able not to hold pressure throughout, because we had plenty of water at the plant. We had over, I'm gonna say, 5 to 6 MGD at the plant holding, and not being able to push water the way it should because of faulty valves is inexcusable in my eyes. So, and we had a water model to be able to valve it in, and some of the valves did not hold the way they should. So, we are looking at that and replacing one of the valves, well, 3 of the valves that did not hold, and it should have been able to hold pressure. So, that's the truth of the snowstorm. Of the accident.
Yes, I'm going to talk about. I have lots of notes, but I'm trying to organize them. So first of all, let's talk about the car accident. Thank you to your guys. They were out there from 3:30 in the morning Sunday morning to 11 o'clock at night Sunday. So over, what is that, 17 hours? Yeah. In the cold, in the wind. I mean, Sunday was a miserable day. The only thing I'm going to ask right now is, and it's kind of water, it's kind of not, but the hydrant got taken out, and it basically crippled our water system on the West Bank. I get some valves didn't hold, whatever. 2 years ago, telephone pole, same turn, took out power, generator failed to come on, crippled our water system.
Yeah.
Do we need to do something in that turn through the state, obviously, because it's a state highway, to protect our infrastructure in that turn, to deal with water? Because that's now twice in that turn that an accident has crippled our infrastructure on the West Bank. Do we need to put, I'm just throwing things out, guardrails, stuff around the fire hydrant protected? I mean, I get a random fire hydrant on the side of the road that gets taken out. Okay, but twice now crippled our infrastructure in the last 2 years.
Both of them was different situations. The first one you're talking about was electrical, and it took out all of our pumps at our.
Correct.
Yeah, both of them was different.
But both were car accidents.
Both
Both
were car
take
accidents.
in the same turn. That's what I'm saying. Do we need to work with the state to find a solution to protect that turn in our infrastructure in that turn? I mean, because let's be honest, Bell Chase, at all hours, people flying through there, and that's not the only 2 accidents that happened that turn that took out the infrastructure. But I'm just saying. I mean, I know that hydrant was at the worst spot and really crippled it.
Chris, I agree that when we are going to be engaging with the state on that.
I get it, but
Robert is the water guy.
well, I know, but all that goes into the water plant right there. That's what I'm asking. I mean, do
Well-
we have other weaknesses there that we need to look into? Is what I'm trying to get to.
And while we were out there, right there with at this Methodist church, the person went right through the pole, through the fire hydrant, and probably from here to the back of the room is the corner of our storage tank and
Yeah.
the main line. So,
Yeah, that's why I'm.
there's something that needs to be done.
Okay.
That's a hard dog leg left.
Correct. That's what I'm asking. Do we need to protect? I mean, is it his recommendation because of all the critical needs in that turn? I mean, I know that comes back to us to work with the state. That's why I'm just trying to get his opinion on, and that's basically what it sounds like. You agree with my assessment. So does he? I yield for now.
Yeah, I'd like to thank you and your crew for all the work they did. Feel sorry for Kendrick sometimes because I know I'm the one that calls in the most leaks and sends him out working the most. But
You and Mitch neck and neck.
none of this is a blame on y'all. And me and Mr. LaFrance been sitting here for 6 years fighting the same issues, which became before us. You know, I blame the administration back during Katrina and put all their eggs in one basket in Bell Chase, and that's why we got problems in Port Self and Bootville with the plants. And we do get grant money, but I know 3-4 years ago we used grant money in certain subdivisions instead of replacing lines that we could have been doing. So I think we as a whole, council and administration need to work better on spending the money in right places instead of fixing things for certain people. Thank you.
I think that's good for Robert.
No,
You got him? Okay.
a couple other people. I want to thank you and your crew for their hard work and dedication. We know our water infrastructure is weak and fragile. Again, thank y'all for your work, and I know those hard weather conditions y'all have to work in. I know a lot of time y'all don't get the compliments that y'all deserve, and that y'all working way deep in the night, late in the night, from y'all home and y'all family to help get this water line up and running. Now, Robert, you had spoke earlier about the reverse osmosis, that we should think about getting rid of that. But as you know, last year, they was projecting the saltwater intrusion to reach all the way to Jefferson Parish. So if we was to happen to get rid of the reverse osmosis, that will definitely affect Belle Chase water plant, wouldn't it?
Well, the saltwater never made it to Belle Chase. Yeah. So, but the state actually asked us, we have to protect our plan is to make it all the way to, our plan is to make Belle Chase the hub of the West Bank. So Belle Chase has to, the saltwater wedge is built below, I believe below Port Sulphur. It's above Port Sulphur. So it's right about a line. So if the saltwater seal is built above Port Sulphur, Belle Chase is the only plant that's protected. So our plan has to be for Belle Chase water facility. So if the saltwater wedge was to reach to Belle Chase, we would get funding for it, So anything below that, we wouldn't get any help. And we have to have a plan that protects the West Bank and the East Bank. So this is our plan to put, I hate to say it, just to put all our eggs in the basket for Belle Chase, and that's our facility that produces the most water. So I believe it's a good idea, and having to limit the resources that we got, I believe Belle Chase can do it. Right now, Belle Chase pretty much send water all the way to Venice right now. So we do need to put some money into Port Sulphur. We have some fixes that we need to make right now with a well and with a tank, a groundwater tank now, and the administration is going to help us fix that. But Belle Chase is our best option right now. What we got to increase the size of Belle Chase to go to 15 MGD and to make the loop system under the river because Point Lahash is below the seal as well. So Belle Chase and Delcor, them the only two facilities that's protected by the seal. So that'll be the best option.
And Robert, let's let them know, we're not talking about decommissioning the Port Sulphur facility or the Boothville Venice facility. We will forever keep them running as well, so that if something should happen to the Belle Chase plant, you can immediately start producing water. And the reason we need to keep them going is because if you shut them down for any length of time, there's a certain period.
The state have to recertify them and things like that. So we'll keep them running and greased up and things like that. But to making Belle Chase the 15 MGD, I think that's the one that we're going to make to 15 MG. Port Sulphur and Boothville will still be operating, but Port Sulphur will still operate right now. Port Sulphur will never be shut down. I'm not saying it'll be shut down right now. We'll still operate Port Sulphur. Port Sulphur plan is, we're not going to shut down Port Sulphur. We'll still operate Port Sulphur. But just saltwater events and things like that, we can always blend from Belle Chase to Port Sulphur.
And also for the residents here from the East Bank, what we're talking about is a 24-inch line that would go under the river from the Port Sulphur facility, and it would go into the East Point Lahash facility, so that we would hope to be able to alleviate the saltwater intrusion at that time by being able to divert the water under the river and to have that complete cycle. So in the future, It not only at the Port Sulphur facility for East Point Lahash, but also above the Bell Chase facility into the Dalcor system as well.
Yeah, Point Lahash will actually be a booster station. It'll still be able to run as a facility as well to boost the pressure and make it a water plant as well. So it's not being shut down, nothing like that.
Okay, so when we was talking about the valves that they weren't holding, those valves, that they was gate valves or were they butterfly valves?
Some of both. Both. We have a valve. Actually, I think Mr. Ronan, we was talking about the valve that we actually found in Jesuit Bend. That the new service that was put in maybe 5-6 years ago, the energy project, they actually left a valve closed that we had to find that wasn't on the map, the drawings or whatever that we found. That was actually we was able to open it up and we actually got more pressure to Port Sulphur facility right now, and with the Alliance booster station coming online pretty soon, I believe everybody that's Port Sulphur South should see a difference in pressure pretty soon. But we still have to do the dual feed, and we still have to fix some lines. And like I said, on Civic Drive, we still have to fix some lines. That's critical. We still have to fix the back levee lines. It's the 6 and 8 inch lines that needs replacing. I know Mitch, everybody in Habo, I know y'all feel the difference. I know y'all feel the difference in the pressure that y'all desperately need. I know you was talking about taking a shower, so.
So that line, so that line that being blocked, you think that was the contributing factor of the people back at Lake Hermitage
Absolutely.
having so much
Absolutely.
water pressure?
Absolutely. That was definitely a contributing factor. I talked to Mr. Bruce Gasquet several times. He keep me updated in the back of Lake Hermitage.
Good. So on the water hydrant that we talking about in the curve in front of Bell Chase High School, the easiest fix, is it possible to take that water hydrant and push it farther back off the highway?
Actually, past president was out there with me most of the time. We're actually going to move it. We actually are going to move that hydrant to a different location.
Okay.
Yep.
With that, and then that water line, we wouldn't have anything sticking out. Everything would be under the ground. Good.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What I want to ask you, can you bring us a list of the things that we need to bring our water system infrastructure up to date?
Absolutely.
And can you prioritize that list, what we need first, prioritize that list, and send that list to all of our councilmen?
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Again, thank you, fellas, for all the work and dedication you did for our residents in Plaquemine Parish.
All right.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Chairman. Thank you, Robert. Again, I'm going to repeat my hard work of you guys and for Mark. A couple Sundays ago when the accident happened, I know y'all wanted to sit at home and watch a football game like I did, but you guys went a 10-foot hole, water spraying all over, 30 degrees, wind blowing at least 30. Again, guys, thank you. I told the residents that were calling, and believe me, I'm sure all of us got numerous phone calls Sunday night. I said, guys, if you think these guys are not working, go out there. Go see what they're doing. It's not comfortable. You go stand out there and just spray a water hose on you and see. Because, again, can't thank you enough for getting it going. Like I said, like Mr. Show said, amount of hours you guys spent out there, the administration, everyone. Again, thanks to everybody. A couple questions on the thing that you talked about Cedar Grove replacing through to Oakville material. What material? Do you recall what material that line is? That cast iron pipe also?
During Cedar Grove?
Cedar Grove to Oakville.
Some of it is, yes.
Some of it is. So you talked about that. Also, we talked about the Bell Chase water plant. I know it's in the process of going to 9 million gallons here within the next few months. Talked to Mr. DeMarco about that, and so that's going to be a plus. But the goal is you said it's 15 million. Do you have an anticipated date of? You talking years? For that, and if you don't have an answer, that's fine. I understand.
Yeah, I don't have an answer because some of the projects I don't know anything about the funding.
Okay,
So that's a kid do gospel.
Also, in 2023, you know, we get these water ratings. I don't know when they come out. When does the water ratings come out for the parish?
The water grades,
The water ratings, yeah.
grades, it comes out, I believe, in February.
So it'll be
March.
coming out pretty soon.
Yes, sir.
So in 2023, in 24, in February, the water rating came out for 23. And of course, everybody knows it was an F.
Yes, sir.
You know, and that, look, a lot goes into that. Our water's not bad, but it just creates a frenzy when that happens.
Yeah, it does.
And look, we all get calls about, well, I mean, is the water, can we drink it? Can we wade with it? Can we brush our teeth with it? I said, yes. I said, it goes into this. So with the new ratings, well, I say new, again, coming out in a couple weeks that will come out, do you anticipate have we made improvements for that grade? Have we done anything to get off the F mark, is what I'm saying, is asking. And if you can answer. If you can't,
Well,
understand.
a lot of that stuff depends on some of the stuff from the administration. Some of the stuff I have to check with Jeff DeMarco on a lot of that stuff. A lot of that stuff I know Jeff DeMarco and Chris Chasson was taking care of it, but I did see a few emails between Mr. DeMarco and Chris Chasson.
So this gets turned into the state?
Yeah, LDH.
LDH.
Yes, sir.
Is Infomark responsible for turning that information in, or are we responsible, or Pelican Parish government responsible? Or is it a joint effort? I guess I'm saying. You have some stuff, we might have some stuff that goes.
It goes hand in hand with the administration and Infomark. But I know Jeff and Chris Chasson, they working hand in hand with that.
Okay, so hopefully we'll see can we get to a C minus? Hopefully we get to, and I know, look, hopefully we'll get there with that. You know, and we've all said it, when we had the saltwater intrusion, it wasn't as bad last year, but, for some folks it was. But water, and we all, this board up here, these 9 of us, we're all committed to the water in Plaquemines Parish. We want it to be the best it can be, and water is, as one of my colleagues said, for water is life. So we're here to support you guys with Infomark administration to upgrade do whatever we got to do. And I know Mr. Francis asked us, I think that'll be a key in starting, and we'll move forward and get it all done. So thank you. I yield, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Quick question. How many gallons do we use in the parish a day?
With
No.
leaks or without leaks?
Stop it, man.
Just how many gallons, on average, do you think we use a day? Because I know we talk about 9 million Belchase, 3 million Port Salt. How many do we use throughout the parish?
East and West Bank?
Yes. I mean, you can break it out, West Bank and then the East Bank.
6. West Bank, I would say 7.3.
You need some help from you people in the back, bro?
No.
Hey,
Gerald, look,
Hey, I know you're
Gerald
from
look like you
Alabama.
need your help, bro.
Let's see. Let me phone. Let's see. 6 and 7. Let's see.
I mean, it doesn't have to be exact.
I
Just
would say
Yeah.
You want to count on your toe?
all right, let him focus. Let him
it
focus.
depends. It depends. It depends on the high usage day.
Approximate.
No, approximately. I mean, average.
Average 9, 7, 8, 9. Let's say.
Come on, man, give us
mean,
a
it sounds
problem.
Let's say 8, 8.5.
8.5. Okay, and
Eight
is
and a
that
half.
total or West?
8.5
8.5
what?
on the west.
And then how much is on the East Bank, give or take?
1.5. 1.5.
1.5. Okay, thank you. That's it. Not a trick question.
Yeah, we turn it over to Billy.
Mr. Morgan, since we're on the East Bank and specific to the East Bank, remind me, or correct me if I'm wrong, a significant improvement was made to the upper end water line just by that tie-in from St. Bernard Parish, right?
Yeah, that was
That's a huge
significant.
thing that really didn't get any attention at all. Nobody
No,
talked
no.
about it. We didn't wave a flag about it.
No.
Tying in their water system to ours definitely is a huge improvement that happened just a few months ago. It only helps the northern end, right? We understand that. But that's a big improvement for the East Bank.
Yeah, that is a big improvement. This administration did. We actually tied into the St. Bernard Parish, so we do have backup now. If we did have a saltwater intrusion, if the saltwater got reached past Point Lahash and went on up the river,
Yeah, if it affects St. Bernard, it won't
Yeah,
help us.
if it affects St.
As long as
Bernard,
it
won't help us,
doesn't
but
affect them, we're good.
we can pull water from St. Bernard Parish, and we can push it as far as south as, I think, White Ditch. Yeah, White Ditch. So we can push water as far as White Ditch from St. Bernard Parish.
But let me just stay on that for a minute. While there's a great improvement, it doesn't negate the fact that those pipes, galvanized pipe, is still a serious problem.
Yes, sir.
I don't want to negate the fact that we tied into Seminole, to negate the fact that we need to move those cast iron pipes in English Turn area. That's still a problem. Because whenever there's a problem, any kind of backup, we got a serious problem. Am I right about that?
Absolutely. Those pipes those pipes have to be changed out. I can't tell you how many blouses and shirt I have put in the cleaners or bought.
Is all the asbestos
Hold on,
pipe that's
it's kind
been
of
removed?
it's kind of it.
No.
When you're putting that list together about the water, can you add the sewage too? Because that goes hand in hand.
Oh, yeah, that's a longer list.
Yep. And I know I was happy to have that low water pressure shower that Sunday night when Belchase was out.
I'm not going to touch that. DeMarco, did you have anything to add to this?
Yeah, a couple of things, Councilman Newsom, to kind of add to your question. The water grades, we lose a lot of points because of infrastructure. Our infrastructure, our old infrastructure, our water quality is probably one of the best in the metropolitan area. We grade very high on our water quality. So our water quality is top notch. It's our aging infrastructure that we lose a lot of grades on. And yes, whatever information, whatever data the state needs to collect for those grades, Infomark obviously provides the data on the water quality, and we provide a lot of the financial data that they're looking for. So it is a joint effort between the administration and Infomark to provide that information. Also, on Mr. Witcher's point, the accident Sunday afternoon that shut our water down, New Orleans Sewage and Water Board reached out to us almost immediately when they heard and offered any assistance that they could give us. And I think we immediately turned on the tie-in from New Orleans, and also Jefferson Parish stepped up. But of course, when the storm came and they started experiencing their own problems, just as everybody else in this area did, they had to turn us off. But without that wreck, we would have been in a much better situation through the snowstorm than we were.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just one comment on Sewage and Water Board. Thank y'all working together. That's a wonderful thing. If you could relate to them over there, that pump that's on Woodland Highway it stinks. And when you come out of Woodland Highway, you can smell it. So, and that's sewage, that's raw sewage. So just if we can
Yeah, I called him several times. I think Keith called the rector, and I know Keith called him several times about it, and I have called him. So it's a nuisance. It's very bad.
I think at this point, we want to have the grant, Juno and other people come forward now.
I've got Ken.
Can do it.
Ken, just kind of like let you know, we have been prioritizing the projects. So I want Ken to touch on that right there. And then after that, we've got Mr. Robert and Anthony Goodjohn with Linfield Hunter. They're the ones that are doing the study. I just wanted them to give us an update on that. And they're also going to ask if they can meet with you guys individually to get your input on this as well. So Ken?
And Ken, do me a favor, and the people come out, give us dates and time. Let us know when you started doing something, you know, when you give your presentation. And I want to say to Mr. DeMarco, while we talk about the quality of water, I had many residents call me about the brown water, but I had the most pleasant, nice way of saying our water was bad this morning from my wife in a nice way. I guess she been hearing all the calls that I get, you know, talking about the quality of water we have. So we still got a problem with water, because for people getting brown water, here we got nice quality water. really don't sound nothing to them because they looking at brown water, so we got a water issue. Mr. Dugan?
I just want to mention, first off, I want to send kudos out to the guys from Infomark as well, because if you text these guys or call them, they answer and respond to you right away. So, thank you, guys. Secondly, following Robert Morgan up, he covered a lot of ground, so I don't know how much more I can add. So he covered master plan stuff, he covered funding, and the projects. So, good job to Robert. You're gonna make my speech shorter. Anyway, so we want to tell y'all that we have applied for grants. We have several projects that we have on the books that grants don't take just a couple of weeks or a couple of months to get approved. They take sometimes years, okay? Before this administration even, we've applied for grants that we're still working on getting the applications and the projects approved, okay? I do want to say too, to the council, thank y'all. We had in 2002 a study done by Linfield Hunter that we have used that as our footprint, our master plan to move projects forward. We have taken significant strides in sewer and water. So when Keith and this administration started, we came to y'all and said, we want to update that study, right? 2002 is a long time ago. We've done some projects on it. We still have a couple more that can be done on that study. This will tell you the future of Plaquemines Parish water. All right, this is where we need to go. If we've talked about saltwater projects that we've done, Robert covered a couple of those. When we were doing our saltwater projects, we didn't want to do temporary like things were done in the past. We went for permanent projects. So we got our interconnects with St. Bernard and Orleans, and Jefferson Parish, I believe, was already connected. So we have two connections with Jefferson Parish as well. RO units. The master plan should be eliminating RO units. I know several of y'all mentioned we need to have RO units. We do when we need them. But if we do what our master plan should show by supplying the water above the sill down south or to the east, we can make this work. And if we do get that catastrophic event, then guess what? The saltwater projects that we've done, we've set up the electrical conditions that we can just plug and chug a RO unit at any plant from Point LaHash, Boothville, and Port Sulphur. So we're prepared for the need when it happens. Trust me, if water gets to Orleans Parish and Jefferson Parish, we're going to have a major catastrophic event down here if they get salt. They can't put RO units in New Orleans.
Before I go, can you tell the public what RO unit, because I didn't,
Reverse osmosis.
oh, just so they can know.
It's a desalination unit that you bring in to take the salt out of the water.
Filter.
Basically. Right, Bill. All right, so I wanted to mention that. Right now, we have two projects underway at our plants. We got Belle Chase, the big pump station that's being built to upgrade our plant. We also have Port Sulphur that's about to come online too, hopefully making almost 3 million gallons a day. So we are making strides in our water system. So nobody's sitting on their hands waiting for money. We have more projects than we have funding. So we have to pursue these grants. The little grants that we talked about with going into subdivisions, we did one on the East Bank. We did two on the East Bank, one in Braithwaite by English Turn. We did one down by the line that Infomark requested that crosses the canal by Bechel's or Point LaHash Marina. We're doing two in by Civic Drive in Port Sulphur, and we did a couple in Belle Chase. So, but those projects are $100,000. That's nothing. That's nickels, right? But we still got it, and we still went through, and we tried to spread it around the parish as we can. The port, y'all need to commend the port. Y'all helped us get grants through the port. We have 3 projects. We're doing the Alliance Booster Station. That project was a port funding. They got a grant through the port. We had the line from the booster station going to Venture Global, and the third phase, I think it just opened up bids recently. Water. That we're going to have water from VG going all the way to Port Sulphur plant. So that dual feed is part of our master plan, trying to get that water south. So we are making strides. So I just want to make everybody know, who doesn't, and the public know that we are trying to get water and build that pressure, because the dual feeds are important to get that pressure up. We also do have 2 water tower grants, or 2 water towers on one grant that we're going to do. One's in Home Place and one's in Boothville. So we are trying to spread the projects around the whole parish. And by the way, Infomark and Severn Trent previously, those guys do need to be commended because I agree with Jeff, we do have some of the best tasting water in the state. All right, so getting back to the current projects. We have 3 projects that are underneath a DHH Emerging Contaminants Program. Mr. Morgan mentioned them, Cedar Grove to Oakville, just to replace that line, going to a 20-inch line right there by the wall to the water tower. We have a 20-inch that we're trying to put from Cedar Grove booster down to West Ravenna to the Alliance booster. We want to make sure that we have 2 20-inch lines that run through there. Just in case we would have a problem, we're trying to pump water, it's better to have 2 of them than 1. If we have a problem, we can't pump water south, right? And then also the line for Councilman LaFrance over there where we have the water line that's in the back levee by the drainage canal. We're trying to relocate that per the Corps' demands. Now granted, this came back about 10 years ago that the Corps said it had to be taken out of the levee. We've designed it. We've taken that initiative to get a design, but we need the funding to do the entire length. That's the 2 projects that we're doing by Civic Drive. That's part of it. We're going to do the highway crossing and extend it a little bit further. But we still got 2.5, 3 miles to go. So that's a big project. So that's another one that we're going to be pursuing with the LDH Emerging Contaminants. And then those cast iron lines, they've been problematic, Rev, you know, and English Turn and Highway 39. Nobody should have brown water. That's just unacceptable. So we are trying to we did apply for the entire stretch of English Turn at one point. We were denied. It was almost $1 million. The whole program had $1 million. We got shot down. We picked up another one and we went to Infomark, said, where's your worst case in English Turn? They said, in the curve. So we did that section a few years ago, probably about 5, 6 years ago. Anyway, but we still need to do the rest of the line. That's a cast iron line for the remainder. And also the brick program, we are applying. We're not stopping. If you can listen to the news and Facebook or whatever y'all want about brick being shut down and money being shut down, we're steadfast going forward with our projects, our applications for brick funding.
Mr. Dwight, like you did me the other day with BRIC, so they can know what this acronym means.
Building resiliency, infrastructure.
In communities.
Oh, yeah, there it is. And communities. So y'all know, building resiliency and infrastructure in the communities and communities. All right. Anything else, Rev?
Yeah, you talked about the 5, 6 years. That's the first, you applied then, and you haven't applied since 5 to 6 years for the English Turn. I got confused about
We
the
did
time.
apply for that.
Said 5 years ago.
We've been applying for projects through the years. It's just we only get these small grant. The administration just recently brought in a consultant to help us apply for grants. So we feel like we're rolling. We're getting ready to take off. We can get some of this money that's up there waiting for us to spend. So we're going to be making some strides. So English Turn, there is some funding that was denied for one of those projects recently, the Pontchartrain Basin program. We applied and we were turned down. So, I mean, we know some problem areas. We've addressed identifying all the cast iron lines in Plaquemines Parish so we can eliminate all of this. This is not just an East Bank, it's a Plaquemines Parish problem. So I know the guys, they go out and they put clamps, some of the lines have clamps that tie into clamps because they're so bad. So our infrastructure is just dated. So
Do we know the price, how much it would cost to replace all the cap? Anybody did estimate how much it would cost if you remove all of? Do we know in dollars and cents?
We haven't, I don't believe we've finalized that list of cast iron lines yet. So to give you that number, I can tell you English Turn is probably going to be like 1.2 million.
I'm just saying, regardless with this, all this period of time, you would think that, especially if we're bringing in consultant, I think the first question we would know how much it costs. And the reason why I'm asking that question, because it's something we don't like to talk about sometimes. How can we get some of our business partners to help maybe defray some of the costs in there? And I know we don't like to talk about that, but you need a number up front. So I would like to know, Mr. LaFrance, like, how much it will cost to replace all the lines in English terms?
Just an English term, or you want the parish? Because I'm gonna work as a whole.
Yeah, but I want to know English term because that's a major problem. in East
I
Bank.
agree. It is
Yeah.
a major problem. And we can, with this master plan that we're updating with Linfield Hunter, we're going from 2002 to a 2025. That should be one of our critical priorities, right?
That's all I'm saying.
So that should be in that plan. And I think if we set that guidance in front of
I
us.
think June is giving you some information.
Jonah.
Joan, I mean.
So, thank you.
Junior, that's Junior.
So, English term, we're looking at 4.5 million. He just handed me. So my 1.2 is a little shy. So, we definitely have more projects than we have money. And keep in mind, even if we get a grant that is for, say it's a $15 million project, right? We got to come up with a cost share on that. So we're going to come to y'all and say, hey, look, we need 25% of 15 mil, so that's a lot of money out there. We're going to apply for whatever we can get. Without the cost share, we don't get a dime. So just some of these projects, some of these applications that we're putting in are for scoping, just the preliminary design of these projects. That'll give us, a good construction estimate of what we're going to be. Those are going to come with cost shares. So just to design a project that might be 15 million, you're looking at $1 million to design it. Y'all gonna have to give us 250,000 just to get the project started, just to design, before we even get to advertising the project. So we do have a lot of projects to do. We're moving in a direction that I believe everybody in collaboration, Infomark, the administration, and previous administrations too, we haven't just started 2 years ago, right? Some of y'all been up here for 4 or 6 years now, so y'all know we've been working at it. And Linfield's always been assisting us. Kyle Associates have been assisting us. We getting there. It's just we got a lot more work to do. For a dated system, we need y'all's assistance, and we're going to try to provide the best water, continue to provide the best water in the state.
Yes, I just wanted to add, for the public's knowledge, that we do want grants and all that, and you talk about matching, we did put, at the end of last year, $1.5 million into a grant matching designation. So we are going to be aggressive on all grants, and that money's already set aside. I know it's only $1.5 million, but so any grant, let's go after it. I yield.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. In the closing,
I'd like to bring up Robert and Anthony, just to kind of go over the master plan
Thank you, Council.
and introduce themselves to you. Thank you, Ken.
thank you, kid.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for bringing this up here. We're happy to give you an update on our master plan progress. I'm going to let Robert here give you the.
Thank you. I'm
Can you introduce yourself to us, please?
I'm Anthony Goodjohn,
Who you with?
Linfield Hunter and Junius.
Okay.
and I'm Robert Nocton with Linfield Hunter and Junius, and thank you, President Hinckley, for inviting us to provide this update. Ken Dugas kind of touched on it previously that in 2002 we were retained by Plaquemines Parish to prepare a parish-wide water and sewerage study that served as a master plan for a 20-year period. Well, the 20-year period extended to 2022, and a lot of the work and the recommendations in that study were implemented and have served the parish well. We were asked to subsequently update that study to give the parish a master plan for the next 20 years. And I think, as we know, after 2002, there were a number of different things that kind of changed the trajectory of the parish, in particular Hurricane Katrina. So with that in mind, moving forward, some of the work in the parish has kind of changed a little bit, and some of the needs have changed. So with the study, and this was just to give you an idea of the extent of the study, this was the study that we issued in 2002, filled with figures, estimates of cost and a phasing program as well as far as needs when we projected that certain infrastructure needs should be addressed. So moving that forward, one of the first things that we did was gathered a whole lot of information from with the assistance of the administration and Inframark to give us the opportunity to update and develop a schematic of the systems as they exist today. So any of the improvements that were made since 2002, whether they were part of the master plan or something else as a needs-based, has been incorporated. And so at this point, we have an understanding of what the systems look like. We've also met with representatives from the engineering department and Inframark to discuss some of the needs of the parish, in particular the water and the sewage. What are some of the concerns? What have been some of the problems? What are things that we need to be looking at to address these problems in a longer term, not just immediate, but over the next 20 years? So with that in mind, we have subsequently evaluated the water system and identified parish-wide numerous projects that are able to maintain and meet sustained growth for the next 20 years, to meet some of the challenges such as the saltwater events, and then also to improve the overall system performance and reliability. We heard a lot of talk about dual water lines. Those are some of the things that we've looked at and identified. We think those are good projects. We've got an overall plan of major projects. At this point, we're starting to break them down. I mean, we're talking about, in our initial estimates, over $200 million of projects that we would recommend. That's a lot. So we need to prioritize them. We're in the process of prioritizing these projects and then developing phasing programs with these. How are we going to get these done? In particular, we know with talking about the grants, we need to be able to put these into bite-sized pieces, make recommendations, and say we think this one should be done first. Ones that we think can give the most bang for the buck initially, and then start to realize the benefits of the larger project in an order that continues to make improvements throughout the system. So our next steps is we're at this point ready to sit down with the engineering department and Inframark, review our results and findings, discuss with them anything else that they may know of now that we need to look at. We'd also like to sit down with any council members that would be interested in do so. There may be some particular issues or concerns that have been brought up by constituents that we may not be aware of. We'd like the opportunity to be able to integrate those, put those into our report, and have those addressed as well. Some of the other things that are going to be in here, not only capital projects just for growth, reliability, but it had been both Robert Morgan and Ken Dugas discussed them, were some of the replacements. You know, we recognize that there are issues with valves out there, with cast iron lines. There may be some other older lines that need to be replaced. We're looking at putting together a program, making recommendations, so that there are budgets along the way of how much money do we think would make sense to get these older lines replaced and upgraded. And so after our meetings, discussions, we'll be finalizing a draft report that we'll be issuing for review and comment, incorporate any final comments, and at that point, turn in a report with final recommendations.
Yes. Do you have a timeline of when this report may be completed? Or do you have any idea what you're shooting for?
We think after meeting with representatives from the council and also with engineering and Inframark, 3 to 4 weeks after we finish meeting with everybody. So we're talking still a few weeks to get something together in a final form for review.
Okay, and where we're at right now is we do know we have some problems that need immediate attention as soon as we can try to address them. But you have them in that report available to us if we had to pull from that sooner, before you got the final report done? Would you have those identified in your report?
Yes, sir. We do have, we do have an overall schematic that just illustrates the major projects that we've identified. These are capital projects for sustained growth, reliability. They don't necessarily include anything with, say, replacement of cast iron lines or valves or any infrastructure upgrades. But we've got copies here that we can circulate, and then from here, we're going to be putting everything into a report form with the methodology and summary of pricing, cost estimates, and a phasing plan.
Okay, thank you.
So we're at the point of prioritizing and finalizing, and now we're meeting with council. Have you not met with anybody from council prior to this point that lived this every day down Southern End and East Bank?
On an as-needed basis, but for the report, our first cut is taking a look at the projects themselves, the major projects. But as far as any of the others, I think we have a good handle, but I think we'd like to also sit down and discuss any other particular items that perhaps we have not, are not aware of.
Okay, I would have thought that would have been addressed sooner. And how long does one of these reports normally take, since this is more of an update? I mean, we've been going on this for a year plus now. How long is, I mean?
It's usually, well, it's a little bit more than an update because we are starting with a bunch of new improvements. It's usually a 6 to 9 month period.
Okay.
There's a lot of information, in particular getting the information that's necessary to get an understanding of the existing system. There was a lot of data that had to be compiled, and that does take a little bit of time to do.
I just remember we talked about this back in October of '23 when the saltwater, and said we want to do this study because we need to solve these problems, and we're now January 25. I yield.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate y'all coming here. I know downtown, Point La Hash, yeah, thank you. Also, I think that's a huge step to get with the representative council, along with administration and all the people, all the players to be. Our biggest concern with water that I can see is definitely on our southern end of the parish and the East Bank. So I would encourage you guys to reach out to those areas first and really get those guys, because they again, as we said, Mr. Edwards talked about the shower, and then these guys, Mitch had to take a cat bath the other night. So the water's a huge issue. So those guys are huge issues in those areas. So appreciate you getting with these guys and Mr. Edwards. And then also, I want to thank you for also including all the council members, because each area is going to be a little different, we need some different things. So thank you for that, and look forward to hearing from you guys. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hi, I'd like to thank you again as well for coming down to Point La Hash to meet with us. It's important that you do meet with each district because, as Mr. Newsom said, each one is different. And I hope that you will update and stay abreast of the needs of each district. And please make an appointment to meet with District 5. If you can't tell, I'm the only female here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
I'm a little confused about some of the comments you made. You said that you had to look at some of the cast iron pipes. We haven't put a cast iron pipe down in probably 30 years. So your 2002 studies, you've identified all that already. So I don't know why nothing has changed there. So it seems like we're plowing the same earth over and over again. We'll work with this, as Councilman Schultz said, we should be just updating the existing plan. Obviously, the engineering staff is getting grants based on the 2002 study, so they're confident in probably the meat of that study, and all you guys are doing are updating it. But in the meantime, it seems like we're planning ourselves to death. Meeting with individual councilmen, that's neat, and we can point out some stuff that that we see, but the subject matter experts are truly Inframark, and they could better identify some of these issues. I feel like we're planning ourselves to death. In the meantime, our citizens are suffering. There's some things we can be doing right now. Now, I know, and I applaud the engineering department for going out to some grants,
but there's some near things, we can do now. Mr. Morgan identified that for Empire, saying, right now, I need to replace these lines in Port Sulphur. So why aren't we doing that concurrent with your study? It can only complement what you're doing. He mentioned groundwater storage, potentially water storage, water towers. You know, you guys are not going to say, hey, guys, stop, you got too much storage. It's not going to happen. I'm using that as an example. That's some things we can be doing concurrent with your study. So I don't want to plan ourselves to death. In the meantime, water is life in this parish. We can't live under it. We can't live without it. We need water. We need reliable water. You know, our people in the eastern side and the lower end of the parish are suffering. My biggest concern with water is not only for drinking, you know, it's being able to fight fires. You know, when we don't have any water pressure, we're very limited in our capacity and our scope to do that. And I don't want to find ourselves, well, we've got the best plan ever in the United States, but in the meantime, our citizens suffer. So I think we can expedite this. And I know we're all, and my point is not to beat anybody up. I'm pointing out the hard work by everybody. We want to work together. What can we do now? You have a willing council here that's willing to solve this issue now. We want to work with the administration, solve it now. So I think we can do some stuff now and continue to plan. I yield.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, we spoke earlier about reverse osmosis, and I don't know if you're the person I need to ask this to, but we spoke about the underwater sill. How long that's good for? With the ships going in and back and forth, up and down the river, how long an underwater sill is good for?
I believe that they have to construct a new underwater sill every time that a saltwater wedge starts to encroach. Is that correct? They don't last indefinitely. It's a temporary measure just to slow the incursion of the saltwater wedge.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Thank you.
I can give you a little update on a saltwater wedge. They don't work if the river's so low and you don't have the current pushing the water down. So that's what you need. Current going down, because current on the bottom's going up. It's supposed to kick it up and the top take it away. But if the river's so low it's not taking it away, we stuck with it.
Again, I want to go back to, we talk about a master plan that was created in 2002. Do you have a list of how it was prioritized and the way the Plaquemine Parish implemented? Because what I'm hearing you saying, like the parish was very successful in completing, I thought I heard you say the Plaquemine Parish government really took your master plan and they really followed it and they eliminated it. So you're saying that the Plaquemine Parish government did everything that was in your 2000 master plan? Is that what I'm hearing you saying was completed?
Not everything was, Councilman, but in particular, numerous projects that were recommended up in the Belle Chase area with the sewerage. At the time that the 2002 study was performed, there were a lot of issues with the Belle Chase sewerage system. There were regular overflows. And at the same time, there was a lot of growth that was occurring down between Belle Chase and the Jesuit Bend area. And so the study, among other things, made numerous recommendations for growth and rearranging of the sewerage system up in Belle Chase. And over a number of years, many of these projects were implemented and performed in accordance with the recommendations. Not all of them were. That was an ongoing effort.
Well, what I would like, since you brought it up, to provide us, based on what you just said, you put together a master plan and you had 15 projects. I don't remember. I would like to see, give us a report of what was completed in the 2000 master plan so we can understand how successful we are. Because when the meeting we had the other day with Ken Duga, one of the things I was concerned about, Councilman Conover talked about how long him and Mr. LaFrance has been here. But seemed like to me all of the years we should have, I think, was shovel-ready projects already in place to fit in. And I'm just saying, so if you did this master plan in 2002, which wasn't completed, then it should have been some shovel-ready project that should have been implemented. The most alarming thing what you're saying that really is disturbing to me, and maybe I heard you wrong, that all the work you did, the replacing of galvanized pipes wasn't a part of it. Did I hear you saying that, or did I misunderstood what you said?
In the 2002 study, that wasn't the main focus for the water work. There were capital improvements, recommendations at some of the plants. But in the last 20 years, the pipes have degraded. That is something that we have heard subsequently is a bigger concern. At the time, Severn Trent was doing a lot of replacement of the cast iron as they could. I think they did replace a fair number. We weren't involved in some of the individual locations, but that was it was something that that back then even Severn Trent used to say was an ongoing effort to replace the cast iron lines.
Yeah, so and again, let me repeat again, I would like for you to give us a report from your 2000 master plan, what was proposed and what was completed. So I can have a better understanding, we get the buck file bangs on that, and then, and what you see going forward. So I would really, really like that. So again, I want to thank, because I know your company been around a long, long time, Litchfield Hunt. I remember when they had a 5-member council, you know, you all was back then there. So, but I would really be interested in that. So thanks for coming. Any other questions from anybody? Administration?
Thank you.
Audience? Any questions, comments from the audience? I asked administration, you say no.
Are you finished?
Okay, but we still on this water thing. I just wanted to get the. Come on.
You better step back now.
Only happened on the East Bank.
Only got 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
All right. Clarence Bronx, 156, Enos Camel Drive, Phoenix, Louisiana. I got a few questions about the whole 9 yards that y'all been talking about. That's a lot of stuff came out, good information. But we're going to do a master plan, and the question I have is that master plan is being made from Phoenix, from Breakaway to Pearl High, supposed to be like 400 homes. Is that master plan being made for the 400 homes or also for the
whole parish?
industries?
The whole parish. The entire parish.
All right. What's about the industries we have that right now and existing industries and one that's coming in? Are we all make a plan for?
It's supposed to be inclusive of everything.
All right. Okay. So we are very into our infrastructure. The building our infrastructure really pretty good. We're gonna change pipes and all that good stuff. That's good. But you got an idea how long you're going to take? Years. All right. So, all right. On the Breakaway Auditorium, the Breakaway water plant, it makes like 700 to 800 gallons a minute, from what I was told. And down in Front Hatch, we only make like 400 gallons per minute, and we use like 1,000 gallons, 1,000 gallons to 1,500 gallons a month, I guess. And the question is on that. The reason why we only allowed to do 400 gallons when Breakaway could do 700 is the wires that run these pumps are real small, not the right amps. Or are we going to replace these wires and get bigger wires and get bigger pumps so we could get up to 700 or 800 gallons per minute?
Let me understand, because at one point you asked a question, it seemed like you was giving the answer. I don't know if you wanted to answer or was you giving the answer. So can you reverse that so I can understand? Because I was just confused because it was a question, but it didn't sound like you answered your question, so I'm not sure.
What I want to know, the question is, do y'all know or aware of these wires that's smaller that we only doing 400 gallons?
Okay.
Can we, are y'all aware of these wires that need to be changed so we get bigger pumps?
So I think that's something for Ken or DeMarco. I think that's the answer. Who can answer that
Are
question?
y'all aware of it?
Are we aware?
I would assume Infomark is aware
Yes.
of any insufficient.
Robert, you still there?
As as the gentleman stated, Mr. Brock, they are working closely with Infomark to identify some shortcomings in all of the water plants and sewer plants. Because it's a comprehensive water and sewer study.
I don't know why. I just want to let y'all know, that's been told to us that it's only doing 400 gallons. And Brickwick could do 800 because of smaller pumps we have. If y'all aware of that, good. It might be an improvement. Other one I want to know, are y'all making in the master plan, not just for the 400 people, it's for, we're going to grow. We're going to grow.
It's for the entire parish, and I can promise you, I would not let this parish put together a master plan and leave the East Bank out.
All right. And also,
as long as I'm a council.
Or any future growth, Mr. Brock.
Understand. And also, a lot of things that we did down here on our side, we had to run the water because a lot of people can't afford to fix pipes and stuff like that. And I was going around telling people, fill up their bathtubs because the water pressure might get low, and it did get low. Fill up the water battery, we could use that for flushing toilets and stuff like that. And also for them to run their water and run their, we told electric to run their heaters. So we got to keep them houses warm, so keep the pipes from busting and all that kind of stuff. And also for places like the churches that didn't have, nobody will be in it, have the heaters running, and also take the toilets and fill them up with antifreeze. I say freon. Antifreeze, so the toilets won't crack from that. So there's a lot of stuff that we were doing on our own to help the parish. We won't have, like the church will have a busted water line. They ain't gonna know till Sunday. Well, so.
Thank you, Mr. Brock.
All right. I still got 25. It was 25 seconds. I'm
You're good.
all my money. So we was helping. We were trying to help the people, and we also did with the fire department. We made sure all the trucks were filled with water and let people know that there will be no protection if no water power, no water pressure. And I do have a couple of bottles of brown rusty water, but I understood the low water pressure is going to create a rusty water. All right, thank you.
I think, Vine, if you come, and then because I think the administration might be wanting to address something on the water that you want to address. So while I'm coming up, please come. And then after that, we'll go to administration in case you might have some questions for them.
I honestly heard you guys address.
You have to identify yourself and where you live, please.
Shavonda Ankalad, physical address 18309 Highway 15, Point Lahash.
Thank you.
So I heard you guys, many of the council members identify one of the things that I wanted to talk about. The plan. It actually sounded more like a growth plan for the parish instead of a maintenance plan for water. The water plant itself and some of the devices. So, and I heard you guys like asking how well did they do. My question would be, before today, have you looked at the plan to see how effective it was for what you needed it to do?
You asked if they did.
Yes, that's what I was just asking, right?
And then to move forward with some of the things that you talked about. That was one thing. The other question I had was the Point Lahash plant. Being there, like it did go off. The water did shut off, a few times throughout the event. But at what point would it take? Like, what's the price range on getting Point Lahash up to par?
Yeah.
I think that would be something that would be addressed in the master plan. We just don't have those numbers. I mean, on this plan, we've got facilities like a 6 million gallon facility. If you come up brand new, we've had numbers as much as $120 million just for the facility. So we would have to see what is necessary and what is needed for the Point Lahash facility. What needs to be done,
Right.
And can it be increased, the capacity?
At one of the last meetings, we talked about the equipment, and I heard you mention the fact that they're basically making miracles with meth. So it is hats off to the guys. But at what point are we gonna start replacing some of those parts?
Yeah. Well, you
And what's
know-
the timeline? Because I
Okay.
understand that's,
Yeah.
you know, that everybody wants to see it happen, and I appreciate that, but like, in a year, you know?
Well, the timeline is money. Okay. We know, I think in listening to Ken, Robert, and Linfield Hunter here, is the fact that if we get that under the river, 24-inch line under the river, Robert, correct me if I'm not right, Point LaHash would basically become, we would need storage there, and it would become a booster station. Because
Pushing it throughout.
right, and it's like we said earlier, is that, you know, the water would be coming from the Belle Chase facility, and we'd be servicing the parish, but we would never take East Point LaHash offline. It would always be serviced, maintained, so that any given time, if something was to go wrong with the Belle Chase facility, you could immediately kick the facility in to making its own water again. But throughout this process, it would be making water from time to time to keep it in compliance with LDH.
I agree with that. I appreciate that. I know members of the community at the last meeting, we want to know, just like the ferry, even though, you know, if January is our, you know, we're shooting for January 26th, January 27th. Like, if the money was there, how long would it take? You know, then we can calibrate, you know, the process to get the money. If it takes another year to get the money, then at least we have a target date.
I think what we could do is, with the council here, is we could take a look at these projects. Once we get this plan formulated, we can take a look, and when they're prioritized, you take a look at them. And then, like Jonah and I, we've talked about shovel-ready. At one time, shovel-ready was kind of like a wing and a prayer. You would go and design the project, now you put the book on the shelf. And then you wait for the right grant opportunity to come up, so you can immediately pull it off, and you're like a step ahead of the game. So what we can do is we can take a look at these projects, and we can, you know, see the most important ones that we need to do, make it shovel-ready so that we can go pursue that grant, and then you could speed it up. Gosh, Ken,
I know some things you just can't answer it, but I just
look,
like to have the
Jonah
question.
and Ken will tell you when I
Another
got
question is, if we're talking about like getting a plant up and running, I know it's, you know, I know the price tag changes, but as far as getting some parts and some, you know, beginning infrastructure, I don't know how that works. I don't know if it's, to be ridiculous, I don't know if it's as simple as a pump or if it's as simple as a device, you know, or some type of machinery. But are there smaller projects that the parish can fund you know, to make it better?
there are.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or what's our time frame with those?
Well, we get them identified, we find the problem, then we get together with the council, we appropriate those funds, and we move forward with it. You know, I've been told, give us a time, I mean, there's timelines on projects that, just to say from engineering, design.
And that's my questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
So to give you a schedule or a time frame for a project, it all depends on the size of the project, right? It depends if there's permitting involved, like the river crossing. We got to go through a long lead time just to get the permit approved. You know, the design's going to take some time. So you're talking like a 2-year project probably, and a costly one too. I think the estimate was 10 or 15 million. 20 million for a crossing under the river. So, I mean, these are large projects, so they will take time. But to build a plant, you're looking at a 2-year, probably 18 months to 2 years for construction alone, which then you're going to go through the DHH permitting, you know, to put that in the system. So there's a lot of things involved. It's not just, here's the money, go build it, and it's done in a week, you know? So, I mean, the cast iron lines, that's a small project. That could take 3 to 6 months, you know? So, I mean, it all depends on what y'all are looking for. And again, I mentioned this about these guys doing the plan earlier. Understand that this was a 2002 study, right? Guess what happened in 2005, right? So our plan changed. It had to be modified. So not every project was going to be a priority anymore because your population shifted. you know, and you throw in funding crunches and stuff like that, things get delayed. So, I mean, the study needs to be updated. These guys are the ones that did the original. That's why I highly recommended them to do it again. And thank y'all and y'all for getting the funding for us.
Thank you. I think we'll go back to get the, I'm sorry. Hold on.
I just wanted to answer the young lady in the audience. 7 years I was sitting in your spot. I work in the oil field, and when we find something we need to fix, we fix it. So I got into this position and I found out it don't work like that in the real world. When you put government on it, it takes forever
Thank you.
to do anything.
I do want to say this. I did talk to Mr. Ankalaw, Mr. Chad, and one of the concerns that he did bring up was the low water pressure in the morning times because Mr. Orban Tinson, we are going to meet with the prison because we do fill up the Point LaHash facility at night, and then we, after everything fill up, all my operators go home. So we are working on that. After we left the meeting, we did talk to Callan Associates about a SCADA system, and we are going to meet with the new warden. So those things are happening. So that shouldn't take that long if you want to know that. So I can tell you that those things are in the process. So that's not going to take years or months or anything like that. So if you want to know that, that's not going to take that long. So the SCADA system is happening, and we're going to work with the prison to try to get the limited time they fill up the tanks. So that's going to happen. All right.
Thank you. Okay. Y'all through? Any reports? Yes.
Okay,
You know.
we're through with,
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank y'all so much for coming.
Thank y'all.
Just quickly, for time's sake, mine's pretty short anyway. Drainage project that was going on in District 7 in Myrtle Grove Marina Estates, it's 99.8% complete. They had some patching and overlaying to do on the Blacktop Road on Audubon side, but all the drain pipes have been replaced. Not every drain pipe, but all the ones that were under construction. That's all done. Weather, obviously, everything on my list, that week of weather affected all of that, so it did push all that back. So maybe another week, that'll be 100% complete. The street concrete repairs, and again, Mr. DeMarco probably has some of these, because we both rely on the expertise and professional opinions of engineering. Those street and concrete repairs, which we covered in District 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7, there's really no status change on those. It's still chipping away. District 1 and 7 is still in line to follow those, but as those are pushed back, yours gets pushed back. Point LaHash Marina, the marinas and boat harbors. Point LaHash Marina, same status, work is still ongoing there. Empire Boat Slip, they're working on their punch list to go over a few things. Within a couple weeks, they'll be finished there. Empire Boat Harbor, no status change, still ongoing work there. Pierce and Venice Boat Harbors, no change there. That's still in the planning stages when these other ones are done. We discussed at the last meeting, we were having operations department head meetings. Those ops meetings were to discuss planning for 2025. Meetings were in reference to flood control, heavy equipment, prom department specific. The plans are being established and finalized to build a more efficient daily operations schedule that'll blend those departments, use those employees in more of a cross-trained basis to help get more projects done at the same time parish-wide. Right now, we have a couple of people doing a little bit of everything, and they go do one job, and they hop to the next. We want to be able to split that out, have people working in all areas. Not every district, obviously, but South End, North End, East Bank. That will, we believe that is going to expedite jobs, whether it's the smallest little job or big jobs. That should help with all of that. The plan for that should go into effect it's going to go into effect next week. Most of that's going to be preliminary stuff, going to identify these. We want to try to identify 6 or so projects in each one of those areas. That way, when they're working on one, they know where the next one's going to be. Unless something drastically happens somewhere else, unless you guys call and request us to hop off and go put out a fire to say somewhere else, we're still going to continue to do that. But we want to focus on these identified areas, whether it's a ditch that needs to be cut, it's trees that need to be trimmed. All of these ditches is going to be the primary focus. Some ditches just need to be swept a little bit. Some are so full of trees you wouldn't know it's a ditch. So it's every aspect of that spectrum that we're going to cover. Most of this, now, later on in this meeting, we're gonna talk about equipment and buying new equipment. Most of that all depends on that, right? If we get the new equipment we're looking for, that will drastically make that plan work better. If we don't get any piece of equipment, we'll still do what we're doing today. It's just gonna take a lot longer to get it done. And last thing, that concludes my operations.
Good afternoon, everyone. Public service update on permits. The RV non-compliant letters, there were 14 that was mailed out this Monday, and they are responding. I guess word is getting out that we need everyone to come into compliance, and we are getting a lot of positive response. Mr. Witchers touched on the concrete package. Hard Rock was doing the Belle Chase concrete package. With the Super Bowl coming up, they are one of the primary contractors in the city of New Orleans, and they were pulled off that job in Belle Chase to complete some jobs in the city ahead of the Super Bowl. We would anticipate the end of next week, with the Super Bowl being next weekend, we should see some crews back on the road either the end of next week or the following week to start on those projects again. South Concord project, the sewer line was actually completed today. Is that right, Mr. Newsom?
Yes.
The sewer line was completed today. The base gravel will be installed and graded, maybe starting this week, but definitely next week. And then the asphalt is to follow. That project is really close. I know that was a big inconvenience for those folks down South Concord, but that project is really close. The Belle Chase Water Plant generator, the transfer switch, that shipped actually today. So when that arrives, we'll have that installed. We'll coordinate with Infomark and have that contractor have that installed. The Port Sulphur Water Plant electrical upgrade. The Kim room is near completion. The AC needs to be installed. We're waiting on Entergy to give us some information on downtime, when that is actually hooked up. Also, they're verifying some standards for some of the transformers. The MCC, which is the Motor Control Center, the vendor has to come out and do a site acceptance inspection. Once that's completed, they can start pulling some of the main feeds to the rest of the site. And when all of that wiring is complete, Entergy can come and perform their permanent hookup. On the timeline for that now is maybe mid-March, mid to late March. On the raw water pump intake at Belle Chase, they're really just going through some individual and final permit inspections. The new pump, the new intake pump, they'll start testing on the new intake pump. Once those tests are completed, that pump has to be put online before the old pump and pipes can start. They can start demoing those. That estimate is maybe 3 to 4 weeks. The Alliance Booster Station, excluding the lines that they're installing going south, the booster pump itself, we're coordinating with the Entergy to transfer over to permanent power. That's a couple of weeks. And we're still working with Mr. Hero, Infomark, and Mr. Hero, or his consultant, Mr. Dufresne, is working through some of the concerns with the sewer issues. Troy Phillips with Infomark and Mr. Dufresne actually talked this morning to keep that moving. Mr. Hero is still waiting on DOTD concerning the turning lanes, and also they've figured out the issue with the installation of the water lines. And that concludes my update. If y'all have any questions and concerns, don't hesitate to reach out to me.
Thank you. I'm Ashley Morrison. This is the Arts, Parks, and Recreation report. Youth basketball season will conclude on Saturday, February 8th, and we will hold playoffs February 11th through the 13th. The championship games will be held Saturday, February 15th. This season, we had 281 youth participate between the ages of 5 and 14. We also had 35 volunteer coaches, assistant coaches, and staff to assist us throughout the season. So a big thanks to all of them. The soccer season began last night, Wednesday, January 29th, with player evaluations at Cypress Park. We have a total of 275 participants this season. The number did go up today because we offered on-site registration, so we're a little bit over 275 now. We still need volunteer coaches for all ages for the soccer season, so if you are interested, please contact the office to complete an application. This season, we will also have soccer goals up at Braithwaite Park and Roger Halfin Fields to allow for seasonal practices in multiple areas across the parish. Registration for the 2025 T-ball, baseball, and softball season is now open. You can register on League Apps, and registration will close on March 3rd, 2025 for that season. Please go online to register, or you can visit us in Belle Chase Monday through Friday, 7 to 3 at our offices. We're also setting up offices at the Percy Griffin Community Center in Roger Halfin Field on Wednesdays from 7 a.m. to 3 for registration. We completed an assessment to host an inaugural cornhole program. Just to let residents know, based off of the responses, we will launch a spring program in Belle Chase. Official program registration will open on League Apps Monday, February 24th. Adult volleyball will begin on March 3rd. For more information or to register a team, you can visit our office. Open pickleball does return Monday, February 10th. This season hours are Mondays 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. and Wednesday and Thursday evenings from 5 to 8 p.m. We've added 2 additional offerings for residents. We will host 3 free baseball and softball clinics for youth ages 5 to 14 at the Quad, Davant Park, and Roger Halfin Fields. These clinics will be in collaboration with the school system's athletics departments. The first clinic is scheduled for Saturday, March 15th in Belle Chase with Belle Chase Middle and Belle Chase High. The second one is scheduled for Saturday, March 22nd in Davant in collaboration with Phoenix. We're still working to schedule the clinic down in South Platte with the elementary and middle school. We hope to finalize that date soon. The clinics will focus on team building, baseball skills, improving season performance, and building confidence. As a reminder, the Pilot Arts, Parks, and Recreation Program Partnership application is still open. This program offers community organizations, members, and current programs to partner with the department to expand our services. We currently have construction, pre-construction, and repairs at 4 parks across the parish. Those sites include Diamond Lake Park Trails off Avenue A, Blackie Barris Tennis Courts, and Braithwaite Park Playground. This concludes my report.
Good afternoon. On the administration side, the finance department have completed W-2s and 1099s. If anyone need theirs, they can reach out to the finance department and they can pick them up there. On the community action agency side, the transit system is still running. They start like 6:30 in the morning and run till 3:30 in the evening. They've also begun their utility assistance applications. Those applications are water, rent, and energy. Also, I want to remind residents that there is a food bank at the Community Action Agency building. I know with the high prices of grocery now and things that's going on, there may be families in need. If you know of any families that are in need, there is a food bank where we can supply some groceries to those families. Also, on the HR side, the 2024 compliance ethics trainings have been closed. We've reached out to them for the links for the 2025 ethics compliance trainings, so we should be receiving those shortly. I also want to make mention, during the snowstorm that we had in the library system, we lost a 30-year employee, Donna Pobrica. She had 30 years with us. Her funeral services were the Monday before the snowstorm. She was very dedicated. She had a way with the children in the library. She's going to be missed.
Wow, thank you. It's Kim, I think, Kim?
Kimberly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all sure?
Well, I'm going to be as quick as possible. Statute RS 38213 prohibits riding or hauling vehicles on the levees. This is a sign that you will see all over, prohibiting riding on the levees and letting everyone know, do y'all see this? Do not ride on the levees. Now, since I am the one who is inconvenienced when one of your constituents vandalizes the levee, I came up with a new wonderful idea. I'm going to start calling you. And if by chance you don't answer my call, I know where everyone lives. And since we all love Facebook so much, we'll even knock on your door and go to Facebook Live so we can teach our constituents exactly why they should not ride on the levees. How does that sound, everyone?
Not good.
I know I won't get a call because I ain't got one since you come in the office, so I ain't worried about it.
Well, if you would answer on my emails,
I answer my call every time I get it.
Krista has called and emailed you. Yeah. Are you calling Krista a liar?
I have never gotten a call from your office or anything, so I don't have to worry about answering for somebody riding on the levee.
Well, then I will just come knock on your door personally and we can chat.
Come on.
We can definitely do that.
Yeah,
But
that's
we need to let citizens know this is our only flood protection.
Thank you.
So please listen to what I'm saying. If anyone has any questions, if this is really going on, I have pictures, I have videos. So we need to get this under control because it's doing a lot of damage. Any questions?
Nope.
I got one.
Yes. We gotta wait your turn. But just since she's up, can he?
Whenever my time comes up, I'll answer.
No, since she's there, can he see? Y'all mind Mitch? Okay. Yes. Kim, put him on.
I'm up? Okay. No, I've been talking with Ms. Buck about this. We pulled up the levy ordinance as it exists, and we want to look at what we can do to stiffen these fines, impound vehicles that get caught, and, make them pay some restitution for what we have to fix. So we're going to look at this ordinance, and we're going to take it serious, because what we've been seeing recently is uncalled for. And I do want to work with you, Ms. Buck, and we want to try to make this to where when someone gets caught, they tell their friend, don't do it. So that's all I had to say on that.
So you answer our phone call.
Oh, yeah, I'm answering a phone call. Well, I miss it every now and then. You don't want to know.
You appreciate my voicemails.
Thank you. Okay. I think she's gonna do a presentation. Yes.
Good afternoon. This is an update on the current status of some of our economic development initiatives. The Brownfield Assessment Grant. Unfortunately, the Brownfield Assessment Grant has been paused.
Excuse me, can you tell everybody who you are, because the audience might not know?
Oh, I'm sorry. Good afternoon. I'm Kelly DeMarco, Director of Economic Development.
I'm sorry.
Unfortunately, the Brownfield Assessment Grant has been paused due to the federal government's freeze on federal grants. This pause may affect our timelines for the project aimed at assessing and revitalizing contaminated properties, but we're closely monitoring the situation for any chances. Greenfield program. We're pleased to announce that we are entering Phase 1 of the Greenfield
Yep,
program,
that's it.
which aims to enhance the quality of real estate available in our communities for development. This program is designed to attract quality, job-producing economic development projects. Plaquemines Parish is one of the early adopters of this program. We are excited at the potential this initiative holds for strengthening our local economy and creating new opportunities for our residents. On a lighthearted note, the Plaquemines Parish Tourism Mural Project. We are thrilled to share that the Plaquemines Parish Tourism Commission has partnered with Super Bowl officials and GNO Inc. to create a mural honoring Plaquemines Parish in our community. This mural will be prominently displayed at the WDSU building by the O'Keefe exit and will be visible from the interstate. The nationally recognized artist Keith Duncan. Keith was born and raised in Buras, Louisiana. This concludes my report. Have a great day.
Thank you. I think Mitch might disagree with that. I think Empire, but I'll take him being born in Buras. Okay, Ms. McCarty. Anybody in the public? Ms. McCarty. I knew that. That's why.
Okay. I want to talk about the Hero Land situation for a moment. And basically, I just want to throw an axe at the communication problems that we have. Because I'm ultimately the one that's accountable, that the people are going to hold accountable and are asking questions. My fellow council members are asking me questions. And I received a notice from my secretary from Permits that the Hero situation was going to be deferred. I said, shouldn't have a right to defer it. It may be a request to defer it, and then I see here notes about Infomark and Dufresne working on things about the sewage. I've been trying to track that down. Mr. Hero's asking me questions. I don't have answers for him. I know about the DOTD, waiting on a letter from him. Hero to install a water line, that's news to me. So basically, if you have a meeting about something that's happening, I guess, in any of our districts, this is an important one. I really need to be involved. So that's why I'm throwing an axe at this communication level. Okay, thank you.
Yes. This is for Ms. Morrison. Ashley, I got a phone call yesterday, actually. And I know about the Port Sulphur YMCA, they say in the garbage cans in the playgrounds are rusted out. They need a couple new garbage cans placed in that little playground area. Okay. Is that y'all responsibility? I think it is, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, congratulations, by the way, too. So, stop. Anyway, so no, it was addressed to me, so maybe I want to check that situation out and look at those cans because they said the bottom's rusted out. And another thing, I seen some people working around the Empire Park. Was that y'all doing anything around there?
Probably so. Yes,
good.
I have a crew that's assigned to Empire. Now, it will be under recreation, so we won't have a subcontractor at that site. It will be our team.
Okay, good. That sounds real good. And I know the bees ought to be dormant right now, so maybe try to get in there while the bees aren't flying and check out that situation.
Yes, we are. We had some issues there after the snowstorm with some leaks. So I asked while we're addressing that we go ahead and start preparing that site for the splash pad for the summer. You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple things going on in the parish. You know, we have, sounds like Ms. Morrison with the basketball ending this weekend and the playoff starting. That's a big event for a lot of children out there. You spoke about some adult leagues that's happening at the, I guess that's at the multi-purpose center, some of those adult leagues. Does the charge, does the people participating, is there a charge with that?
So for the open pickleball, there's no charge for that program. If it's an open program, it's just a slow time at our facility that we're offering up for residents to come and openly play.
Okay.
The adults volleyball, I believe it is, that is a league with teams. So they do pay to register their teams.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Taylor, I want to thank you for the food bank. Where is that located at? I don't, where are the food banks located at for the residents?
It's inside the Community Action Agency building.
On the government complex?
Yes.
Okay. On the government, thank you, okay.
On A-Bear.
Ms. Buck, I do agree with you 1,000% about riding on the levees. But remember, this body here makes the laws. It's another group that enforces the laws. So I've gotten numerous phone calls from residents, and I don't call you, I go call the proper authorities and get that done. So this body has no authority other than just making the rules. We make the laws, and then it's somebody else's job to enforce them. So just with that, I understand that, but coming knocking on councilmen's doors, we need to go, I have no authority to arrest anybody, to fine anybody. I have no authority to do that.
That's what I need your help in, is to educate your constituents.
Yes, and I saw you spoke about signs. Is there any effort in putting more signs out on all these things that go up to the levee to do that? Thank you. Okay, thank you. Also, some events, we talked about the events in the parish. I don't, Mr. President, if you want to talk about it, we do have a chili cook-off at Hart's Exxon in, where's that, Venice? Venice, that's in Venice. Be going on Saturday, so big event turnout. So if you're looking to eat some chili, come on down the road. I think,
There's also a parade for South Platte, the football team. I believe it starts at 12, Saturday. Yeah.
with that, are you?
What time Saturday?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Cho.
Ms. DeMarco, I believe that executive orders have been lifted with the grant that you're saying that it's been paused. That was lifted late afternoon, so that should be hopefully resolved.
Thank you. I'm working on that grant. Could you come
Can come to the mic, please.
The Brownfield grant is with the Regional Planning Commission with Adam. And as soon as I
Yeah.
heard the same as you, when I get the green button, we're going
Okay.
forward.
Yeah, like I said, it got lifted. I'm going to condense my comments since we're already 2 hours in. We're not even past item 4. Communication, overall, we got to do better. Starting with the car accident. Accident happened 2:53 in the morning. I wake up at 7 o'clock, to phone calls, text messages, asking what's going on. First thing comes from the government, 9:30 range. Reverse 911 was around 1:20. People just want to know what's going on. I mean, it's not that hard. We need to communicate better. Moving to the snowstorm, I get it. It was unprecedented, but first of all, Billy, I do thank you working on the trash, getting Saturday pickup, because that did help a lot. A lot of people did thank us for that. I did want to add that in there, but my understanding, there was multiple EOC meetings, no council involvement. We're the ones getting the phone calls nonstop. I get it. You might not, and you're busy. I get it, but we need to know what's going on. You had Venture Global, Chevron, Port, School Board, all these other agencies, but not a single council rep, which I think for us is Mr. Champagne, Mr. Newsom. They didn't even know about them. So we have to do better. I know Mr. Champagne talked to you late last week and whatever. And it's just troubling that can't prove it, but it's pretty obvious outside people from this government and administration as a whole is getting information before council. We could talk about that offline, but it was pretty obvious. And when we're getting questions and we can't answer, but people outside of this council has information, I'm going to say what Mr. Habo over there says, that I kind of feel his pain that he's been complaining about. Nobody contacts us, or him. But we just got to do better. I'm going to keep it brief just because we're 2 hours in. I yield.
Yeah, my question is, on some of these contractors, we have these extended timelines, particularly like we're trying to put the component in at the Port Sulphur Water Plant. Not of our making, but are we holding them to the timelines and potentially inflicting liquidated damages on them? Because this is ridiculous. We're like 2 years into this thing. Again, not the administration's fault. A lot of this is problems with the actual facility. But again, we have contractors that show up and they seem to work at their own pace. And I know that we gave them a contract, there was a timeline. Now, there's a force majeure in there if there's circumstances beyond their control. But unless we hold them to them, I think they're gonna just take their sweet time. And again, water is near and dear to us. So that's my question.
So we do have contract times that they have to abide by. If they go beyond that without a good reason, then they will be charged liquidated damages. We have charged LDs in the past. That particular project, we had materials, equipment that had long delays. You know, everybody across the country was ordering similar equipment, and Entergy couldn't get the right equipment to the site. So when they got it, I think we just had something show up December. You know, we've been waiting 11 months for it. All right, so I mean, when you got a 12-month project, there will be some things, there are things they can do during that time frame, but there are some things that are just unavoidable. You have delays. So
And again, I asked that, and it's not against you. I'm clearly defending the administration. It's just that in some cases, we do have some unexpected contracted delays. And
I mean, the Super Bowl project, you know,
again,
that kind of puts our concrete out.
Right now, the
delay,
Super.
But we understand. You know?
No, I don't. I
Okay.
care less about the Super Bowl right now. All I care about is taking care of my constituents. I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, how is Orleans Parish more important than Plaquemines? That's where I'm at. And that's what I'd be kicking and screaming about. So, not your fault, Ken. I appreciate everything you guys are doing. But when someone tells me the Super Bowl is more important than Plaquemines Parish, I got a real problem with that. That's right. I do. So, again, Ken, thank you. You guys do great work. And again, this isn't a dig at anybody. Everybody does great work. We touched on the communication stuff. I talked to President Hinckley about it, and a lot of it was just an oversight. And one of the things he pointed out to me, you know, is like, hey, you could have gave me a call. I'm like, you know what, you're right. So I should have called you on day one. But again, these are things that I think we can do a better job at communicating. I think rather than, we need to look at this as a teachable moment and move on. Information's power. Like in where I live at, there was no water in my house. And everybody's calling me, heck, we don't have water. I said, neither do I. And I found out, we crossed off, we did a pretty good job. And again, I should have called you up. Uh, Let me tell you, I was out there at that one. I know you were. 6:30 in the morning. Again. Let me tell you, my mind was like, Infomark, let's get with the program, let's get this water, you know, look. And we were getting information from other people, and I appreciate everybody. My point is, President Hinckley, is that, again, I believe in looking through the windshield, not the rearview mirror. In the future, I really hope that any information you got, give it, you know, work through the council, we'll get out. We'll help you be your mouthpiece and get that out. And we can, all 9 of us can help you significantly. So again, not to beat a dead horse, but next emergency, I know that we're all gonna do better. And I know as soon as we talked, man, you got the boil water thing, you called me early in the morning, I got it out, and everybody pushed it out. We waited for the official message, so we're developing a process, so I thank Yeah, you. and just one thing to understand with us is that we really analyze the situation. We look at it hard before we when we put something in writing, it's looked at with several eyes, many eyes. We want to get the information correct, and when we send it, we don't want to have to resend and correct ourselves. Yeah.
I get it. You know, in the world we live today, people want to know right away.
It's instant
And they couldn't have lived when we was kids. If somebody could have dropped a bomb on Buras, if we didn't see it on the 10 o'clock news, we didn't know about it, didn't care about it. But now everybody's got the cell phones, they need to know right away. And
You know, look, and I told Brian this, I'm sitting in this, you know, going into this storm event, we're thinking, you know, okay, it's gonna snow for a couple, 2 or 3 hours. It's over with, the sun's gonna come out tomorrow, it's gonna melt it. Who knew that we were gonna go 60 hours and be going through, you know, what we did? I mean, there's no excuses, okay? But like I said, I sat there in one of those meetings and said, man, I gotta call Brian to let him know we're having these meetings. Walked out, and I told Brian this. I said, I walked out of that meeting, and that was the last time I thought about it until Brian called me, okay? So, I mean,
Bringing up that meeting, I just learned today that we got 2 people that was picked to be in these meetings. Who decided who those people were?
you guys did.
No, I didn't appoint nobody to.
But I'm confused, what are we talking about?
Appointment. I may have chose Brian because of his proximity. He has sat in EOCs in the past with his career. I know where you are. You're in the southern end of the parish. I've talked to Mitch about it, Carlton and Reverend Councilman Edwards. Guys, you're on the East Bank. It just, that's where it comes from. I mean, look. So, hey, if y'all want to get amongst yourselves and
I understand, I can't make every one of them, but to get an email or a text or something, say, hey, we have an EOC meeting today, if you can make it, good. If not, that's good too.
And then we're very limited in space. When things are really ramped up, it's hard. I mean, every chair is full. There's standing room only. So we have to be vigilant and, understand that we need to kind of limit the amount of people that we have in here. And that's why we tried to work with Brian and Ronnie to be the liaison between the administration and the council.
And if they are our representatives, they dropped the ball too, because I didn't get an email or text from them saying this went on at the.
Well, I'd like to take Brian's words right here. I'd like to look in the windshield here.
Well, I gotta look back because I'm finding out about it right now. And, just like everybody else in the community, everybody's on Facebook. So who does Tracy Urban work for?
She does not represent this government. Tracy does work with me on the outside world. Tracy never sat in one single meeting. She has zero input on the government side of my life. She works with me on the outside. She never got any information from this administration. She would pull her information off Facebook. That's where she was getting her information. I didn't have time to even call and talk to Tracy.
Well, she was posting stuff before I even read it on Facebook for the government site and every other site in Plaquemines.
I don't see how that could happen because we posted on. Shanta would have to speak on that. I mean, just how this won't reach.
I mean, I'm not responsible for how Tracy transfers her information or what she actually does. But during the snowstorm, we did 44 posts. So information was getting out. What I saw that she shared, it was the government's content and it was a share. That's what I saw. So if she had notifications that let her know as soon as something comes up on the government page and she shares it, that's not in my control. I didn't give out any information. All I did for a whole week was hold a phone and make sure people got the information when I received it. And that's all I did. And how other people disperse their information, I'm not sure.
Again, if it goes out, she got it before me.
And it was through the actual government page?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, well, I'm not actually sure. There's 4 people that's on our government page, huh? That's
Before
myself.
it went out on Facebook, 9 people should have got a text.
Well, now that okay, so how should I say this? So I'm writing the content, I'm sharing the content, I'm making sure we do the reverse 911s, and now it's being asked that I send it to 9 before as soon as we get it. Is that what we're asking? It would get it from Infomark, or I would get it from Jeff.
Excuse me, Councilman, can we stay in the order in which we end, if you don't mind?
Yeah.
Are you trying to finish with Conover? Yeah,
So-
okay.
Put the combo back up.
So I guess I'm trying to figure out.
You're gonna put you back.
Go on, Ms. Conover.
Before I put it on the website, you want me to send it to all 9 councilmen?
Yeah.
This council isn't run by Facebook.
Huh?
We not run by Facebook.
But do you have like
How many
assistants
calls
that
we
could get
get?
notifications that could help us transfer the information? You know, I don't have a problem with it, but I just want to say to the public, like, is that realistic for one person?
Shouldn't we
as
find out
communica-
about it before Facebook? Because we getting thousands of calls a day. I don't have water.
So are you all on the email from Patrick?
Nope, I don't get an email from Patrick.
Okay, well, we can work, we can make that, okay.
All right, well, that's,
Okay.
that might be, that's the glitch. So,
And with getting the information, last year, doing my mileage report, I could never do it because the internet's always down in the office. Well, it's down again. Here we are in January, and I think Dodie said we had it for 3 days. And she talked to Bob Gelb about it, and they supposed to be fixing it, but
Well, I can make sure Patrick has everybody on the email. I can do that.
okay.
Mr. Patty, Newsom, I'm sorry, Newsom,
Thank you.
is the mic on? Is Mr. Newsom mic on?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So it comes down to, like I said, we've said this, I don't know, a lot of times, communication. The legislative body of government should be involved, Keith, Mr. President, I'm sorry. Well, it should be involved, and we were not involved. We were not involved, you know, and I know you were out there. You sent many pictures, Facebook, you were out there. Appreciate that. I was not. But for the accident, the vehicle accident, the snowstorm, y'all had numerous. And look, there's a lot going on, you're right. But when you sat down and you had the time to invite Chevron, invite Venture Global, all key players, school board, all key players of the parish, not to say, but when not a single councilman got a call, Mr. Champagne sent me a text saying that y'all gonna have a meeting and he would get back with us and let us know when it was gonna happen. Mr. Champagne, did you get a call? No. See, that's a huge problem when we don't
Let me
get. Look,
disrupt you for 1 minute. I did get a call from her, but I missed her call, and but it was after the fact. I'm just saying, I don't know if she was calling me as the chairman of the council, but I did
I
get a
think
call.
I think we've identified the
You know,
situation here, so.
and look, I've got calls and we, like as Mr. Condon said, we want to put out up-to-date, accurate information. And when we all have the same information, it works. Of course, I stayed at home most of the time, so I watched TV. I watched how the other parishes work, where they were pushing out information through their representatives, and it worked great. Here, it didn't happen, and we really need to do a much better job of doing that. So, as you can tell, the frustration up here at the council is when we don't know, we don't know, and that's not good. Thank you.
I had told some of the council members that I'm trying to find a way to not respond to individual Facebook pages, and I tell the constituents, Facebook is not a way to communicate. However, I am putting together just a District 5 Facebook page, and I hope that'll be the only one, and I won't have to go into individuals in the future. But there is a way, talking to the communications department, that when something's posted on the parish page, it can automatically be posted on other pages. And once I get that straight, I will share it with the other commissioners for them. Also, because of the efforts of me writing that BRIC grant, we got the DTA, Direct Technical Assistance Grant. And if we wanted to put it in there, the way that I designed it, it would automatically, as soon as you send something out, it would go to everybody. Instead of a reverse 9-1, it's more efficient. And it will go to everybody who wants to receive information immediately. You won't have to do anything else, period. Yeah, thank you.
Did you?
Yes, I did want to ask this question. I know we heard about no room in the EOC building in the office because it's standing room only. But were all these in meeting room conferences that y'all were having? Because it couldn't have been because you couldn't drive. Because you couldn't drive, so y'all were definitely having phone conferences. And a phone is very easy. You're not filling up a room with a phone.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
And one other thing I do want to say, and to reiterate, I know Facebook is some people's only means of communication. And when people start getting desperate, they have to know some sort of answer. So if I'm out there on the ground watching this get done, I want to give them a time frame. It does ease them up, and it does make it better. And I appreciate, y'all was spitting them out, making them shareable, and that's good, because when you make them shareable, we could just share what you put out as well. And throughout the thing, I would wait around a little bit and see what was happening. But just to let you know, I'm not going to stop communicating with my constituents in Patty, District 5, District 8, two totally different districts. Because when I start getting phone calls, I get them from down south all the way to up north. So, I have to cross these communications up when I post it.
Share with you how to get it out immediately.
That's all I have.
So, yeah.
Thank you for your patience, Mr. Shaw.
It sounds like we might have identified where the thing is with that email chain, because that's the thing. Obviously, when you're typing up something, Shanta, you got that information from somewhere. We weren't blaming you, but while you're typing that up, okay, that decision was made 10 minutes ago, a simple email or a group text to us saying, hey, this is about to come out. In all honesty, I'd rather share the government page than type up my own thing, making sure grammar is correct and all that stuff. I'd rather just go in there and click share, because it's a lot easier. But and I hate Facebook with the communication, but at the same time, it's the way of life. But I'm also getting phone calls. I was getting phone calls with the car accident. I had 3 phone calls while I was in church that morning. So it's like, we need to know the information. And also, it sounds like possibly when it comes to EOC meetings with our representatives not on there, maybe they should be on those emails automatically when they get sent out. Hey, we're going to have an EOC at this time. So it sounds like we identified where the drop was. So just like I said, you got to understand our complaint. It sounds like a lot of us were getting phone calls, emails, Facebook messengers, and we don't have that information. We're trying to find it out on our own. We cross-talk, a lot of us, hey, I'm hearing this. Is that the same thing you're hearing from whatever? So going forward, like I said, I kept mine brief at first because I was like, I think we all know where we are, but we got to do better.
Here, I'm gonna say one comment and then we can move on.
No, come on.
I get accused of where's Hinckley? He doesn't do anything. He's not on Facebook, so I'm like, I'm not a Facebook person, okay? So when I'm sitting out there on the side of the road until 9 o'clock or 9:30, my mind's not thinking, man, I gotta post on Facebook, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. All right. So, we're good.
Okay.
Make it quick, 'cause we got it.
Okay. And then I still have a question.
I got on Robert about it the other day.
Got on what?
Robert, he said y'all was riding around looking for leaks. I was coming out of Shirley B. Drive when the sheriff passed, y'all passed, and the police car passed. I got behind y'all. I passed the water spout going up 10 feet in there. Y'all passed it. Y'all never stopped turning it off. I had to.
Thank you.
Let me just say this.
We had Mom's
My mic is on.
Diesel Burger on our mind at that time.
Mr. President, let me just say this. Earlier you were talking about we as it relates to your administration, how y'all analyze, how y'all do, but we need to be a part of that we. And I don't care how we do it, but we must be a part of that we. Because while you and your administration might have these eyes and ears and analyze, our analytical stuff would help that. I'm just saying that we're going to move forward. We got to move as a team, because earlier you're saying, with the council. I hope we can really say what you're doing is with the council. So we got a lot of work to do, and I just hope that we really get to the level where we really can say with the council, because I'm saying there's a lot of work to be done between the administration and this council, and it's not going to be did today, but I hope that we can find a way to make it happen.
I'm very willing to work with you.
Thank you. Thank you. So I think we finished with I think we might have to go into executive session. But before we go, because a lot of our council members wondering why the amount of time we spent with the time, because we had a community meeting. Mr. Schultz, you was at the community meeting, and I plead to residents of East Bank to come out to this meeting on water, and it came out. So I really extending them that time because they took time out to come here, and oftentimes they don't get a chance to talk. So I'm asking you to accept my apology, not my apology, but I'm telling you why that happened, because you was at the meeting and heard, I practically talked about them like a dog at that meeting about not coming out to the meeting. And I really want to thank the District 1 people that was here early, and I really promised them a chance to speak on the water. So that's why I took it out of order. So are we going to go into executive session now? That's where we at? Rennie?
She's gotta read it, we gotta
Okay.
vote on it. Item 2, executive session. Executive session pursuant to LRS 4417A2 in regard to discussion of the Parish of Plaquemines versus Roselle Operating Company et al., 25th JDC number 60996, Division B. Attorneys Brandon Taylor and Rennie S. Burris. Councilman Edwards.
Offer? Second. Before we're gonna, stand by, sweetheart, I want y'all to meet the love of my life, the wind between my wings for 44 years. My dear wife, Gail, is here today, and I just want to introduce her to everybody. Thank you, sweetheart. Executive session.
Oh, we gotta vote.
Oh, I thought we did.
No, you just say, she's.
Open the machine, open. Executive session. We're leaving executive session at 4:23. The council come back in executive session at 4:29 with no bonding. No decision was made.
That's easy. Next time.
Next item on the agenda, please. You-
Item 6. You're on.
Try again.
Item 6, beer and liquor license. 6A1, Belchase Self-Serve, 9654 Highway 23, Belchase. Item 2, Captain Larry's, 11334 Highway 23, Belchase. Dave's Beverage, 7690 Highway 23, Belchase. Philisac, 12753 Highway 23, Belchase. Freeman's Food Market, 26277 Highway 23, Port Sulphur. Croatian American Society Annual Events for 2025, 220 Croatian Way, Belchase.
Offer by Councilman Conovich, second by Mitch. Call for question. Passes. But all councilmen except Dr. Gould is absent.
And we also have, well, Councilmember Jurisic has one to add to the agenda. It is the Market in the Park, the Jesuit Bend Market in the Park 2025 annual permit.
Been offered by you, second? By Mr. Conovich,
And this vote's going to be to add to the agenda.
just on that. So now we taking up. Now this is the actual,
This one is going to be to suspend the rules.
no, we just did that. Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's
Okay.
what I thought I was
No
doing.
problem. This is for the, adopt the resolution. I'm sorry, I'm lost right now.
Second.
I'm second, but Schultz call for the question. All 8 commissioners present, councilman present voted, Dr. Gouy absent. Next item.
Building permits, there are none. Construction permits. Cubion Group LLC, application number 2024-1185, application date 1325. Pile driving and pier installation, 105-313 Marina Road, Point de la Hache, Councilmember Edwards.
So, can we do them all in global?
Item 2, Spectrum OPCO LLC, application number 2024-1200, application date 12/19/24, proposed installation of a 2 to 4 inch flow line from the existing SL 214 well number 143 to the existing SL 214 well number 911, Gordon Bay Field, Venice. Item 3, Kinder Morgan, application number 2024821, application date 7/17/24, dredging at the Orjico Borge Dock, CBUI Borge Dock, CBU2 Borge Dock, T1 Tower Ship Dock, and Brook Ship Dock, 18559 Louisiana Highway 23, Port Sulphur.
I offered in global. Can I get a second? Second by Mr. LaFrance. Call for the question. Oh, I'm sorry. Any discussion from the audience? Come on, bro.
Coming right through you.
Underneath your house.
Clarence Brock, 156 Enos Camerland. On number 1 and number 2, can you tell me exactly what are these? I know it appears over the water.
Way out, as we say, Mr. Brock, we knew you was coming, but again, these the same thing that's so far out in the Gulf that's not going to touch your yard.
All right, so that's, but when they say Marina Road, that's right there.
Marina Road
That's the piers they're, Mr. Brock, Mr. Brock.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's the piers they're rebuilding at the marina. That's
That's
driving the pylon. They had to
marina?
pull some of them were rotten and bad. They had to pull them up and replace them.
All right, I know that's home. That's not way out there. And number 2, what's going to be in that flow line? You got an idea what's going to be in that flow line? All the gas. All right, thanks.
You're welcome. Call for the question. Any table? Machine open? One extension from Mr. Konovich and all the remaining 7 councilmen. Dr. Gu is absent. Passes. Next item, please.
Introduction of ordinances and resolutions.
The following three are for under Councilmember Edwards: an ordinance authorizing the acceptance of a donation for the firefighting department to amend the 2025 firefighting fund, operating revenue and expenditure budgets, firefighting general department, and to accept a donation for the ambulance department to amend the 2025 public health fund, operating revenue and expenditure budget, ambulance general department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution authorizing and directing the parish president or his designee to do all things necessary and proper to negotiate, execute, perfect, and enforce any and all documents required to apply for a local government assistance program from the Office of Community Development in an amount of $300,000 to purchase vehicles for the following departments: 1 mid-size pickup for buildings, 1 1.5-ton pickup for flood control, 1 small size 4-door SUV for finance and libraries department, and electronic survey equipment for the parish personnel and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution authorizing the Plaquemines Parish government to enter into a CEA with the Louisiana Office of Public Health to provide them with office space at 3706 Main Street, Belchase, Plaquemines Parish Health Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. The next 2 are for Councilmember Champagne: an ordinance to increase the compensation of the parish president for the Plaquemines Parish government from $100,000 per year to $140,000 per year, effective January 1st, 2027, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvements plan, Southern Oak subdivision, street repair project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. The next 2 are for Councilmember Schultz: an ordinance to require a 2/3 vote of the council for any funds to be transferred or expended from the fund balance designated for emergencies and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2025 general fund operating expenditure budget, Parish Council, District 3 Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. This one is for Councilmember McCarty. An ordinance to appropriate funds to pave with concrete Epsilon Street between Beta Street and Covert Road, Bell Chase, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. The next two are for Councilmember Jurisic, a resolution to create a policy for any business that uses large quantities of water shall be required to have their own tap installed at their respective place of business and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution authorizing and directing the parish president or his designee to facilitate the removal of meters on fire hydrants parish-wide and banning the commercial use of water from fire hydrants for non-emergency situations or as deemed necessary by the Plaquemines Parish Water Department and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. This one is for Councilmember LaFrance, a resolution authorizing and directing the parish president or his designee to do all things necessary and proper to negotiate, execute, perfect, and enforce any and all documents required to apply for a community water enrichment funds grant from the Office of Community Development in the amount of $350,000 to begin Phase 2 of the Port Sulphur 20-inch water line relocation project. Water line is currently positioned in the back levee at the Plaquemines Parish Government. Plaquemines Parish Government is currently working on Phase 1, which is to perform tie-ins to the existing 12-inch and 16-inch utilities, directionally bore under Highway 23 and extend a new 20-inch water main and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. And finally, and this is for Councilmember Konovich, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvements plan, resurface Highway 11 Empire to Triumph project and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
Next item.
Ordinances and resolutions on second reading and final passage. Ordinance and public hearings pursuant to Article 6, Section 601 of the Plaquemines Parish Charter. 9A1, an ordinance to amend and amend it to readopt Section 4 of Ordinance Number 142, the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance of Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, as amended, and the Comprehensive Zoning District map therein adopted by reference and which is paraphrased thereto with reference to application number 2024561 dated August 7, 2024. Council Member Champagne.
I offer. Ask for a second.
Second by Councilwoman Patty.
And I'll expand on it briefly. This is the government complex off of F. Edward Abreu Boulevard. We're looking to change it from the A1 Rural Agricultural Zoning District to MH, General Commercial Zoning District. And the primary reason is to put us more in line to receive grants to be able to further develop that property. That's it. I mean, not MH, I'm reading it right here, misprint. I'm in General Commercial, it says MH on here, misprint, my bad. I read what's written.
Yeah, I know, that's why they called me.
It's General Commercial.
On line 30, it does say C2.
Yeah, C2. General Commercial, C2. Line 30.
But I got a question.
And this was the plan that you all got, you all received the master plan in written form prior to Christmas.
Can we get the audience first? You
Yes,
mind?
go ahead.
Anyone, any comments from anyone in the audience? Council.
Hold on, I'm gonna let Mr. Newsom go first. I want to look at something.
Thank you. Mr. And what, but I don't know, I did look at the plan, what are we, by rezoning, what are we planning on doing here? What are we planning on doing this? Because I'm gonna tell you, C2 is a broad ban of things you can do in that zoning book. Now, it's government property, but why C2?
Again, the primary reason is for us to be able to pursue grants. Right now, it's zoned agricultural. I ain't seen a cow on there ever, right? So, and right now with that zoning, it does not have any advantage for us. We own the property. No one's gonna come there and develop commercial property. We have to approve that. but it allows us to pursue grants to potentially develop those buildings. Maybe put money into the EOC or some, all those other dilapidated buildings. You saw, that's why it had to break down in it of all the square footage cost for improvement. I think the average was $350 per square foot. That's expensive. So this will allow the administration to pursue some grants to potentially get that, complete that government complex. That's it.
Question, who will determine, because this is government property, what goes on government property? Is it council? So, or is it, well, I don't believe that. I don't know about that. And I'm not saying president wouldn't do it, but, it just broadens it up. You gotta give me what grants are we actually looking, what does this do for grants for us to do? What grants are we looking at to get, since it's C2, what is it give an advantage to?
Gotta be something.
There's more opportunity for grants in a C2 zoning than there are for agricultural.
But do you have a specific grant that you're thinking about doing? Because to put this on it, somebody must have some kind of plan, whether you're trying to, because I know one time we were talking about developing a playground or something in the area. So what are we doing?
There's a lot of ideas that have been floated and, go ahead.
I wanted to answer this question.
Go ahead.
Well, I need you in.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Kim, man, please.
So, am I on? No.
We're getting there.
All right.
Wire broke, you hit it with your foot.
All right, so I was actually telling Mr. Champagne kind of questioning the same thing before it got brought up, but this just does the rezoning to allow us to go after grants. Now, the master plan, I have some questions about the master plan. This is not accepting the master plan. This just allows us to go after grants, and the council has to approve any building changes or appropriate any money that goes into a building change. Like if we're renovating a building or anything, the council's going to have to approve it anyway, the appropriation. So this just allows us to go after grants, whether it's the EOC grant, there's some grants for different nonprofits that we have storage buildings on that they use as our storage buildings out on the complex, stuff like that. So at first I was kind of hesitant, but then again, I realized, wait, this is just a zoning change to allow us to do this. But ultimately, it's going to come back to us because they're going to need money to do any renovations to any building or matching funds for grants or anything, which basically we're going to have to appropriate anything. So
Let me ask this.
we still have that checks and balance.
Let me
Mr.
ask-
Newsom, you still
I
have
mean, did you want to add anything else to that?
Mr. Newsom still has the
So
floor.
let me ask, with that being said, so if we vote to change this to C2, someone comes in, a contractor comes in and wants to, and I didn't look, is this the whole property? This the whole government complex? Every piece of the government property?
Yes, 320.
So if a contractor that's zone C2, contractor, and I want, any contractor comes in, and the space that's in front of the, where we all drive in, and wants to put something there that requires no money from the Irish government, but I want to build.
Agreement to let them use our land.
Yeah, I got it.
No matter what, anything that, they'll have to have an agreement to use our land, because it's parish land, so.
And I don't see in here, does it require approval from this body, or does it just pass?
The whole thing. The
charter on the board.
The charter requires that. Just like
So-
other land that we use that we let, I'm just saying, like the lockup, we let, like Yaya use, we had to enter a CEA with them to allow them to use that. So it's just like that land there.
But we didn't, but it was not a zoning change for that.
No, I get it, but in order to use our land, it has to be a CEA. So this just changes zoning, doesn't allow us to do anything with agreements or anything like that. This is just a zoning change. And like I said, at first I was hesitant, then I'm like, wait, hold on, we're talking about two different things here.
Yeah, it says, actually, it's Parish Council Article 4.01. Parish Council represent as the governing authority the parish of Plaquemines and all political subdivisions and districts therein, and any and all matters and actions, all rights of action and warranties, and all rights, title, and interest in and to all lands and property owned by them, and to all resources and revenues derived therefrom. So that's always been interpreted that the administration can't do anything really without property, without council input or approval.
And thank you, Randy, appreciate that, thank you. So with that, do we want to make a typo on line 21 to change that? Because
That's a clerical.
That's
error.
clerical.
And I
Okay.
checked in the back, because that's where.
So that's-
Talking about when the zoning board went through it, and I did verify the application and the zoning board clearly.
All right, if it's a
C2, so that's a clerical thing.
Thank you, and I yield. Thank you for, thank you for the information, thank you.
You have
The
the
zoning board did approve this 8-0 with 3 absent, so, this did go before the zoning board. I yield.
It's kind of it.
I don't have a problem with it, but and don't quote me, but a couple years ago, a company came to Burris and wanted to do a crab and fish processing plant, and they was going to C2, and I haven't read the zoning C2 lately, but that one they could have put in it, C2, you could put a nuclear waste site. And, you know, if they didn't do the processing plant and went away, it's already zoned C2. So is there another zoning that we could put it in? What wouldn't be so broad as, you know, we got to worry about the next council and administration, what they want to do, and
I mean, that's true of anything, though, to be honest. I mean, it's hard to bind the hands of any future council in the way you're trying to propose.
But if there's another zoning that we could put it in to get grants instead of C2, because, and don't quote me, like I said.
Yeah.
It could, but it had like nuclear waste sites and different things like that you could put in a C2.
Right.
And
Right. So if the council, at a later date decides to lease the property, then obviously you can put whatever restrictions you want in the lease. Even if the property, if you all decide to sell the property, you can always sell the property with conditions or certain rights reserved to the council, or through any kind of agreement in the actual conveyance records. Or, once again, the council at that time can then rezone the property and send it back to, A1 or A2 or anything else it would want to do. So there's lots of options open to the government to prevent the kind of thing you're talking about. But, in terms of nailing down a future council and the way you're kind of, suggestion, that would be difficult to do.
well, I wasn't saying nail them down and
Well, I'm
change it, but.
right. I mean, I didn't mean that in a negative way. I'm just.
So if we make it a C2 and you can do that in it, we can't see what they're gonna do in the future. They might need money and sell it to a landfill or whatever.
Right, they could, and if they didn't change the zoning or they didn't place restrictions in the sale, then you're right. They could come in and put in anything that would be lawfully allowed. Now, there are some of the business types you're talking about do require industrial questionnaires, and I think a landfill would be one of them, wherein the council on that type of business would have more say in what goes on there than, say, your average run-of-the-mill commercial business. So that would be another layer of protection for the council for those types of businesses that you're talking about.
Rena, I don't like the question. What I'm really concerned, because I'm hearing selling, I was hoping that this is just for lease purpose only. Because one of the things when they first got that site is to make it a government site. So I'm really concerned when you start talking about different commercial people coming in there, what we really use. I can see if it's government related. Seems like to me anything that comes to that site should be government related. I know one time they're talking about making a softball field, Olympic Stadium. And so many things have been happening. So I'm just concerned about how much space we taking up at one time.
And it is government related. I mean, government property still has to have a zoning classification. And so the ownership of the property is the government. By changing it to commercial, that doesn't imply, well, you're all of a sudden going to sell it to private industry. But C2 is a zoning classification that specific grants require to be done. And so nothing in here insinuates that we're ever going to lease the property, we're ever going to sell the property, but to get government grants, the property still has to be zoned in such a way that it comports with, certain grants that are out there.
But I'm saying, I'm looking at how much space we're doing. That's the other, it's enormous amount of space. I'm gonna, do we need?
Well, I think the intention.
What was the decision to do that amount of space?
Well, it's one big parcel. The government, the complex is one huge parcel, and you don't want to restrict yourself. I mean, if Mr. Marco's out there trying to seek grants, we want grants for the whole complex. So we wouldn't want to limit ourselves to a little small piece of the government complex. We want to see what's out there for the entire complex, and so that's why you're rezoning the whole complex.
Okay. Mr. Champagne?
I think we're going way off the mark here. It's simply to rezone that complex to open an opportunity for us to get grants. Now, to predict what a future council is going to do, I can't do that. I hope they have the wisdom to not sell it off or to make it a nuclear waste site. That's not what we're here to decide. We're here to decide to open up an opportunity to get grants, to rezone and get grants. We still control what happens with that property, us. And we hope that the future councils have the wisdom to do that. I can't predict what they're going to do. But right here and now, I see a complex with unlimited potential, and it's only limited by its zoning. Let's get some more grant money and finish those buildings. We're not going to vote, none of us here are going to vote for a nuclear weapons site or whatever, a nuclear waste site or any other craziness. So here, we're just looking for more opportunity. That's all this is. I yield.
So you're saying in order to fix the existing building, we need to do this classification?
It gives us more opportunities for more grant money that's out there.
Okay.
So we can fix that or beautify the site or even add to it. But most importantly, to make it functional. Right now, we're sitting here with a place that, I'd say 3/4 of it's not done. It can be improved on. It opens up a door. The administration asked me to move forward because it's in my district. I read the master plan. They've done their research on it, saw how much it costs. I think it's a wise move to help move the ball forward to make it better. That's it. We hold the keys of this kingdom in terms of what they do with the property from this point forward. We're not going to allow them to do something silly, and we hope that our forefathers or our people that follow us will do the same. But again, I offer that we at least provide an opportunity for us to get grant money to finish it. I yield.
And again, I was originally, when I was thinking this through, right when he introduced it, I was like, well, I had issues with the master plan, but that's not what this does. This just rezones it. We're not adopting a master plan. We're not authorizing administration to go build anything or sell anything or do anything. This just opens the door for opportunities. And again, will ultimately come back to us, whether they need matching appropriation, whether they're building a new building, whether they're assigning new building space. All that is covered in the charter and ultimately comes back to us. So again, could a future council do something crazy? Yeah, but they could also, that future council could go through the C2 process then and do it anyway. So, I mean, I get your concern, but that council can go through the zoning board, get the change, and then still do the nuclear waste or whatever. So again, I think this just opens up the opportunity, but ultimately we're still going to have the council, whether it's us or the next council or the following council, still has the final say at that point. I yield.
That's it? No, we did the audience already. Any more for administration? Machine is open for voting. And it passes 8-0 with Dr. Gui absent. Next item, please.
An ordinance approving a plan of subdivision of Urbella Realty LLC Lot 482, Concord Canal Subdivision, Belchase, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, Section 17 T14S or 24E into lots 4A3, 4A4, 4A5, 4A6, and 4A7, Concord Canal Subdivision, Belchase, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, Section 17, T1, 4S, R2, 4E, as shown on the plan and plat of survey by Dufresne Surveying and Engineering, Inc., dated October 15th, 2024, the owners having fulfilled all of the requirements of the subdivision and re-subdivision ordinance of the parish of Plaquemines without cost to the Plaquemines Parish government or the parish of Plaquemines, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Newsom.
I'll offer and ask for a second.
Second by Mr. Champagne. Any question from the audience?
So,
You want to explain it first?
let the audience.
Thanks. This, Rick Jackson, Belchase. This is my neighborhood. When you add up what we've done in our neighborhood in the last year, we've added about 100 in Blue Dog trailers. This is gonna be some more, plus the 44 low-income houses right there. We already have, if we get a little bit of a rain, we have crap coming out of the manholes for 2 or 3 days, stinky, raunchy crap. So we haven't done anything with our infrastructure in that area, and it's all within just a little piece of property. It's not like it's 2 or 3 miles apart. This is all within a half a mile radius. In addition to that, we got, a lot of people, transient people, and most of them are good people. My son-in-law does that. But I have had some issues with some of them. And, I moved into an area, paid a lot of money for a house to be in an area where there's permanent residents. Now I got 100 and however many they're gonna put in here, probably somewhere in the neighborhood, 36 more, just transient, coming in a week at a time, 2 weeks at a time, or a month at a time. There's no plan for the traffic coming in and out of one road, Concord Road. You got that, complex they're putting right by the front gate of the base. When they come out of that complex, they're not going south, they're going north. So they gotta go down and make a U-turn. Well, there's no U-turn at Concord, so they gotta go down further. But none of that's been put in writing as far as how they're gonna egress and ingress that facility or our neighborhood. Mr. Hero putting in 100 places, and he's jumping through hoops for his lift stations and getting DOT for a turning lane. We're adding more than that here in a very smaller area, and none of that's even been reviewed or discussed or even thought about, in my opinion. So I'm strictly against this. It's another play that, some zones get approved and some zoning.
Not a zoning. It's not a zoning.
This is a zoning change.
No, it's not.
What are they doing?
Subdivide.
Subdivide.
Two different things.
Yeah, some of them get done and some of them don't, depending on who you are. And I think that me and my residents, and it's affected me personally because it's, the other night, I heard something in the middle of the night going up and down the road, up and down the road. We're only a block long. I go out there and there's some guy on a motorcycle driving up to the cul-de-sac. I live in the cul-de-sac, back down, up, and it's 2:30 in the morning. So I go out there because I'm PO, and instead of calling the police, I stop him. And it's a fella, works at the plant. He's learning how to ride his motorcycle. I said, well, you don't learn to ride your motorcycle at 2:30 in the morning. He said, well, this is my daytime because I work. And I said, well, everybody else is their nighttime, Well, he wouldn't quit, so I threatened to call the police on him, and he quit coming up and down the road. But that's the kind of, and he was probably a pretty good guy. It's just, that was the only time he could do it. But that's what we get, people that don't really care about the people that are there full time. So I'd like to see y'all not approve this, my opinion, and thank you for the time.
Thank you. Anyone else from the audience? Table? Mr. Jones.
All right, so it's already zone MH. Do you know what they have intended use for? Or I know it doesn't technically matter, but.
Tell me one, Kim.
And I
Yes.
have a follow-up question.
Yes, this property, we, a while back, we, voted to subdivide this property, this body, because it was all one piece. So we subdivided it, and, this realtor, Arbella Realty, bought a piece that was subdivided. So, it is zoned MH. He's looking to put 5 lots in there.
So he's subdividing it again?
No, the original owner subdivided the property.
Correct.
Arbella bought the property from the
Okay.
original owner. Now, he wants to subdivide the piece of property he bought. The intent is what was told to me, is to put some housing as far as
Okay.
condos, I guess you call them condos, I don't know, apartments, but there's all restrictions.
So in ultimately, because that's not allowed under MH, I think. So this person is going to have to come zoning change at that time. So, all right, that solves question number 1. Question number 2, and again, it goes back to same thing I asked with Hero subdivision, is the sewer outlet has been located. It's the customer's responsibility to determine if the sewer connection is large enough and deep enough to provide adequate service for the new development. So they say it's adequate enough, and then they realize it's not. Who's going to get the phone calls? Us? Are they going to be required to fix it, or are we? And the thing is, it sounds like it's already a problem with the sewer. And and again, I'm dealing with this in my district. That's where sewer backup because of overdevelopment. Well, not overdevelopment.
Address the sewer situation.
So I'm asking who's.
So
Yeah,
the
go
sewer
ahead.
situation was an issue. It was a huge issue, backed up on the street I live on, Gondrella, same as Mr. Jackson lives on. It was a huge issue. This body appropriated $1.2 million to fix that problem. The sewer line, it was completed, as we just spoke, Ms. DeMarco, was completed today. So the sewer system new line has been ran from the back of the street on South Concord all the way to the front. Brand new line.
We keep adding and saying, is it large enough and deep enough to provide adequate service? Are we gonna have to then, a couple of years from now, add another sewer, you know what I'm saying? I think we're, again, the wording of this and the approval, it goes right back to.
I think
same problem
this,
here.
by rezoning this, it restricts the amount of people that can be there. Right now, this is zoned MH.
That's what I just did.
He can come and put RVs in there. He's zoned to put RVs in there. He can come do that.
Yeah, I get that.
And
Well, he
this
needs a permit.
restricts. Huh?
He would need a permit from us.
Yes. Yes.
Well, he can put 2. He can put 2 without coming to us.
Oh, hold on, Mr. Newsom, have the floor, please.
So, this is, I don't see this as as something special. But look, hey, this is limiting taking a big piece of property, limiting the 5 pieces. Hey, it went through the process. I've read it. There was no, the sewer line has been replaced for sewer. That was a big issue. Hey.
No, I get it. Like I said, I quote from Infomark, it's the customer responsibility sewer, and it goes right back to Ms. McCarty's and her district, where it's kind of, we're taking the stance, we'll see if it works, kind of. I'm like, either sewer is adequate or it's not, to me. I'm like, I don't understand this concept. I yield.
Yes. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, go ahead.
You on there now?
I am? Yeah, okay. No, I kind of gotta agree with Chris that, just, you had trouble before, but now you got your new sewer put in. So is this sewer gonna be adequate for y'all now, but when you add more to it, will it be overloaded again? And I think what we need to start doing, instead of expanding, we need to start doing some real infrastructure studies to see if we can handle anything much more than what we got. And I'm gonna I'm gonna ask you maybe to defer this till maybe we could talk about getting an infrastructure study. Because as you said, we put Mr. Hero through the mill on trying to add 100 or whatever. On his first phase, but overall, it's gonna be, so I feel like, maybe we ought to level the playing field and let's get an infrastructure study, possibly.
There's other folks in the queue before I make a decision. I'll let them.
Yeah, I mean,
I would concur with what we've just heard. My concern is that for all developments in the future, that we make sure that the sewage is, or drainage, whatever, is prepared for future development. So if we do a study, I'd like us to have in that study to know what the capabilities are for the future as well. Thank you, I yield.
Ms. Conovich, Ms. Champagne.
I know we look alike, but Champagne.
Y'all do look a lot alike.
Hey, look, I'm looking at the application, thanks to Councilman Schultz. And it says here, Jeff DeMarco approved Infomark's review from Troy Phillips, approved on January 14, 2025. And it says sewer is available on South Concord Road for the re-subdivision project. The sewer outlet has been located. It's the customer's responsibility to determine if the sewer connection is large enough and deep enough to provide adequate service for the development. I don't know if this guy is a sewer expert who owns his property. Probably not. No more so than Mr. Hero. And I can't in good conscience move this forward, but and not give Mr. Hero the same opportunity to make his own decision. Is his adequate? I think right now, if we ask him that question, he would say yes. But again, we need to do this in a comprehensive and fair way. I yield.
Conovich.
This was brought up at the zoning board meeting Tuesday. Somebody was wanting to get a permit for something, they said to rezone their property. They said, well, it only shows 2 trailers. And Amitra said, it don't matter what your paper says, once they get the rezoning, they could put as many trailers as they want on it. And I said, well, it has to come before us. And she said, no, it doesn't. I said, well, from what I remember, when we did the temporary one and all, up to 9, the parish president signs off. Over 9, we sign off. She said that was the old one. She said, do you remember this conversation? And I remember Mr. Champagne's the one was talking about it. And she said him and Mitch is the one that brought it up, that if all these departments sign off on it, why do we have to vote on a permit? And it was,
That was on the final approval.
well, she said we don't have a say-so in it no more. And she contacted the secretary's office getting that ordinance.
Yeah.
Ordinance clearly said we don't have to give the final approval. The conditional approval is what we sign off for, which should have the number of lots. So if that's their interpretation, we have an issue. So we need to look into that first thing tomorrow, Jeff, because that was just final approval, because we were given conditional approval. And when they go do all their infrastructure, we don't know. I mean, we're relying on permits to tell us whether it's right or not. So why are we giving a final approval when we gave conditional? So if that's the interpretation, we need to know that first thing tomorrow morning where we can change that, because that is not what I voted on.
Jurasage was at the meeting too, and that's Mr. LaFrance. That's what she said.
No, I get it, but I'm just saying we need to clarify that tomorrow.
Mr. Newsom, what's your pleasure about this ordinance? Are you going to defer it or what?
I will defer it with the request of the council.
Okay. Next item, please.
9B, an ordinance approving the extension of the lease between the Plaquemines Parish Government lessor.
Defer it.
9C, an ordinance.
Before you start it, can we name all the deferrals so she won't have to go through that trouble? Kim, can you? So do we have any other deferrals or withdrawal, so we don't have to go through this?
I have some. Let me go ahead and do them. And then
Okay.
9D and 9E is being withdrawn at the request of the Coastal Zone Department.
9F is deferred. 9G is deferred. Does anybody have anything else? 9G isn't good. U? Oh, okay, 9U. 9U is deferred.
What about L? I think administration had asked about that one.
I have no idea.
Yes, I would like, that's for the mosquito control. I would like to defer that one.
9L, deferred. Anybody else for anything?
Any withdrawn?
We are withdrawing 9D and 9E. Yes.
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 You good, Les?
I'm good, I'm ready.
Next item, please.
9H, a resolution approving the issuance of a fourth two-year extension commencing upon the expiration of the current two-year extension period to Woodland Borough Pit LLC for the existing sand pit on property located in a floodplain zoning district at 22441 Highway 23, Port Sulphur, Louisiana, all in accordance with application number 2014-4771, dated January 7, 2013, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember LaFrance.
So often.
Offer by Councilman France, second by Councilman Jordan. Any comments from the audience? Jordan? Okay.
Close enough.
My man Mitch. Okay, from the audience? Council member? Machine is open. Eight to zero with Councilman Goulet absent. Next,
I, an ordinance to amend the 2025 operating expenditure budget, Economic Development Tourism Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
offer it. Second by Councilman Newsom. Any comments from the audience? Newsom, right? You did. Oh, Pat, I'm sorry. Thank you, Patty. Any comments from the audience? Machine is open. Table? Machine is open. It passes 8-0 with,
No.
I'm sorry, Mr. Konovich is saying in 7 with Dr. Goulet absent. Next, please.
An ordinance to amend the 2025 operating expenditure budget, Engineering and Public Works Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
So offered. Second by Schultz? Schultz, okay. Any comments from the audience? Table? Oh, okay. Champagne?
Yeah, I see received some information from Jeff DeMarco, who said that Tahoe or equivalent, and we can do the same thing with a Jeep Cherokee for $37,000 and save $15,000 to be better spent on another piece of equipment. Because I understand this is for hauling the survey team and their equipment.
Would you like to amend it?
I'd like, well, I got up for discussion. I would amend it if I want to see what others think. I mean,
Yeah, I put it on because the administration asked me to, so, Jeff, any comments to what he just said? About doing a cheaper vehicle?
Tahoe or equivalent.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
So we're gonna amend it to what amount?
Yeah, I amended to a Tahoe, which is $37,000. Same thing, economic development, Cherokee, excuse me.
Where's this survey and where would this crew be going? Parish-wide. Parish-wide, yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're not looking for a four-wheel drive.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
So we're amending it to what?
37,000.
37,000.
A motion to amend this to
Vote to the amendment, okay. Any comments from the audience? Machine is open.
And we're voting on the.
We're voting on just the amended. Eight to zero to amend it. Now we're actually voting on the actual amendment. Machine is open to 37,000 as amended.
You second? Okay.
Seven and Mr. Conovich abstention and Dr. Good. Next item, please.
An ordinance to amend the 2025 operating expenditure budget, buildings, general department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
Offer it. Second by Mr. Champagne. Any comments from the audience? Table. Machine is open. And it's passed at seven with one no from Mr. Conovich and Dr. Gui absent. Next.
M, an ordinance to amend the 2025 operating expenditure budget, Waterworks and Sewer Operations Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
So offer.
Second.
Second by Mr. Newsom. Any comments from the audience? Floor, Mr. George.
Yes, is this gonna go for the mosquito control department? No.
No, that was deferred. That was deferred. We're on M.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, it was a mistake. She had L, but it was M. Schultz?
And just, this goes to part sewer issues that we were talking about. We need this vacuum truck to clean out a lot of our sewers. We had to rent some in my district for clean out, which helped, but did not clear out all the way. So that's what this is for. I yield.
Machine is open. Well, I'm sorry. Oh, I didn't see all these people. Y'all just had on.
They come in late on you.
Oh, they came on late. Okay,
They came
Mr.
in-
France, you know I don't forget you.
Did you get the information I asked you for?
I'm sorry, I do. I'm sorry I didn't bring it with me, but I sent it out about a month ago, but I do have the quote in the description if anybody wants to see it.
I would like to see it.
And look, while he's doing that, just FYI, this is just not a sewer truck. This can work in drainage, everything else.
Well, that's what I asked him. Was it a regular vacuum truck or is it one of these camels?
I do not know if it has a water jet on it. It may be on that paper, but I know from the vacuum side, it can help us with clogged drains as well.
Can you answer that question, Mr. Marco, since it's been answered and the public needs to know the answer?
They don't have a picture of it, huh?
Can you go over there and answer the question? You said, Campbell, what was your question again, so he can answer you? The type of machine.
Is it a regular vacuum truck or is it a camel?
I don't know what a camel is.
You know the truck that have that line in the front? Or you can have a regular.
Let
vacuum
Mr. Marco
truck
get
in
this
the
seat
back.
so he can answer your question.
I saw one in Jefferson Parish. They said it's the strongest they have. It's
Yeah, but they-
about 35 feet long.
Mr. Edwards. I'm not Mr. Edwards. Mr. LaFrance.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure this is that style of truck.
Is that camel?
Yeah, with this heavy-duty truck, that, they don't even make the small ones that don't have that. Small only has
Yes, they do.
suction hose only.
Yes,
The
they do.
large trucks with water jet and vacuum is gonna have the snorkel as well.
Right.
So I think that's what this is. I didn't see the paperwork, but for this dollar amount, it's gotta be a big truck.
Not until we get to. I'm sorry, Mr. DeMarco, you ready to answer the question? So it is, Mr. Anthony, yes to Mr. LaFrance. Your next question?
And I see they have a Cummins engine. Yeah, we definitely don't want that pack car. Yeah. Yeah, good.
Yeah, but behind $550,000, that's a lot of money.
That's what I said when I first saw it. Mr. Conover?
Thank you for this, because 3-4 years ago, the guy brought one to us to show us about it. And we had him go to the dump in Belchase. He blew out a line you couldn't get nothing through it. And he got through it and tried to buy it with the BP money, because that was one-time money. And the administration didn't want it. So I appreciate y'all. I'm always willing to buy equipment.
All right.
Is that a yes vote?
Yeah, that's a yes. Mrs. Patty?
I just wanted to ask, is there one larger than this, out of curiosity? Because I saw one that's about 35 feet long in Jefferson Parish, and it cleared a street in the matter of like 15 minutes.
One larger?
Yeah, I'm just asking,
sure
are we
there
getting a
is, Mr.
small
Moore.
truck? It does say 800 gallons per minute pump-off system. That sounds pretty good.
Robert Morgan
Okay,
did.
I got it. Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
Mitch?
This also can be used to clean out culverts and everything as well.
Yes.
Great.
Robert Morgan did extensive research on these trucks and it got various quotes, and this was the best deal we could find for this quality truck.
Machine is open.
Come on, hold up, how you vote? Hold on.
They hold it.
Name your vehicle.
With Mr. Conovich vote, it is 8-0. Dr. Good has ring the bells. Put out the balloons. Next, please.
And an ordinance to amend the 2025 operating expenditure budget, Coastal Resource and Protection Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
Offered. Second by Mitch. Any comments from the audience? Table, Ms. Schultz?
Mr. Champagne, I'll let you hit on this.
Yeah, this is.
Champagne?
I recommend we do item 9T, then come back to this. One will inform the other.
No, this is not equipment.
9T is, this is for this is for vehicles, for personnel that we haven't voted on yet. So,
This is heavy equipment operating.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
No, this is not. No, this is the vehicles. This is the vehicles for them.
T is the heavy equipment
So if we don't
operating.
need.
And this is the vehicles for them. So
Yeah.
you don't get heavy equipment vehicle operators approved, why would you buy vehicles?
And we're talking.
Okay, let me just say this. I went through that with Ms. Bucksy could tell you, the very thing that you said is what I asked, and she assured me that we're gonna have the person to go with the machine.
It's gotta be voted on. If it fails, you don't need.
That's-
I'm not opposed to it, we're gonna get them anyway.
No, this is, the two trucks that I need are for the two operators that y'all have got to vote on first.
Yeah, we haven't voted on it yet, though.
Correct.
We're putting the cart
So-
before the horse again.
It's probably best to vote on my two operators before we vote on them getting automobiles.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend that we
So
do not move 9T up and vote on it, then we can go to 9N.
Good. So we acted for suspension of come on.
No, it's on the agenda. I'll read it for you.
So we'll just pass it, we'll waive it. Go to the next one.
You want me to read 9T? Okay, an ordinance to amend the 2025 general fund manpower structure and operating expenditure budget, coastal zone levy, general department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Excuse me. Councilmember Jurisic.
Second by Pat? Pat, okay. Any comments from the audience? Oh, it's kind of it.
Heavy equipment operators now, what's their top salary that one of them's making?
I don't know about top salary, but I believe starting salary is $20.70, something like that, maybe. That's the new starting rate.
We
That's
got-
what you're asking.
We got 4 or 5 heavy equipment operators right now on the payroll.
Yeah, but the way this came to be is, she had tractor drivers at first. Heavy equipment operator gives her a little bit of a hybrid. A heavy equipment operator can go drive the tractor if they need to, where the tractor driver can't necessarily step up to the next step level and drive the heavy equipment. So this position works out better for that department. It's more of a hybrid. Now, eventually, she'll need tractor drivers too. If you build this department the way it needs to be and you have all those aspects of different machines, she'll need a little bit of everything. This is the best starting point for her, is what I believe. And she-
Well, what I'm trying to find out is what's the salary of one of our employees that's in heavy equipment right now?
43,056.
That's what one of them's making right now.
Yes.
That's been there for over 20 years?
No, that's the starting salary. If someone gets a job tomorrow, that's gonna be their salary. The employees that's been here forever, they're all gonna be paid something different. I can't tell you what the highest one is off the top of my head.
And, you know, right now we got money with taxes from Venture Global. Where this money's coming from next year and the year after?
Well, once y'all supported the raises that they got a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
I'm talking about these two people.
That only, it only improves starting rates, right? Starting rates today, a guy will get hired today, and he will get paid more today at a starting rate than the guy who's been here 15 years. That's what happens. Buy the vehicle. So if this employee that starts today works the same amount of years, he might retire with $60,000 more in salary. It's a huge difference.
And where are we supposed to find this money in the next few years to pay this employee, these two?
Well,
because once Venture Global quits building, and if they don't build the second plant, we back to square one where we was 4 years ago.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Thank you.
Just a quick question. So I see this in, you know, explain to me. Heavy equipment operator 1, is that different from heavy equipment operator?
It's not
No?
necessarily.
Thank you.
Okay, machine is open. Did we get the audience? We got a question. Machine is open. And it passes with 7, with Mr. Conovich voting no and Dr. Gouis out. Next, can we work back now to,
Yes, and in order,
Yeah.
do I need to reread it?
yes,
Okay, an ordinance to amend the 2025 operating expenditure budget, Coastal Resource and Protection Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
so offered. Second by Mitch. Any comments from the audience? Table, Mr. Chose?
Are these people going to be working together while out in field? Or are they separate? Are they,
One will be on the east bank, one will be on the west bank.
all right,
Can
thank
you
you.
come to the microphone and say that, please?
One will be on the east bank and one will be on the west bank.
Thank you.
You have a question?
You laughed when we called her out earlier.
I know.
Any question? I'm sorry, any question? Anybody else from the table? Machine is open.
Hold on.
Oh,
Oh, sorry.
So what type of work will these people be doing?
These people, since they're going to be operators, will be helping to repair levees, helping to inspect levees, and also CPRA said that I can get them certified to be inspectors as well. So I can have them on equipment, helping maintain levees, to do maintenance on levees, and inspect levees, and also help out with our quarterly and semi-annual inspections.
Oh, I got a question. I do have a question.
So these people heavy equipment operators, they will be cleaning these burns for levee inspection also?
I'm hoping so. That's what the whole job's supposed to be about. They have a lot of things. They also need to spray chemicals on our floodgates because we keep getting dinged for that in our reports.
Ms. Buck, will these vehicles be, it's two vehicles, will they be take-home vehicles?
Good question. I wouldn't think so.
Okay, that's,
Because I've never even thought about it, but I honestly have no clue. I would hope they have their own transportation. They would come to their office or whatever
that's why I'm
building they
asking.
will be
'Cause
at,
It's not,
get equipment,
I know
and
we have a take-home vehicle policy, and I'm gonna just know if this is, will this take home? Will it- And that's why I'm asking.
Yes, but the thing's closed, I can't, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, but these people working in this fashion, though, they may be called out at night during certain.
they're going to be on 24 hours, 7 days a week. I mean, if we hear something's
well,
going
that's
on with my
different.
levy,
Well, that wouldn't.
Yeah, so that's
I
what
mean,
I
they're
want.
going to be on call
That's what
constantly,
I
just
said.
like
If
I
they're on
am.
call, then it becomes a vehicle they need on hand when they get that call.
Correct.
I'm good, thank you.
Let me just say this because a lot of stuff is under my name. And Ms. Buck would tell you most of every question you all asked her, those are the same hard questions I asked her when I met with the administration. I'm just saying, because they're on my name, when I met with the administration, they could tell you, these are every question you all asked was the question I asked with administration, because it's under my name, and I don't like stuff being under my name unless I ask a hard question. So I appreciate y'all affirming the question that I asked. Machine is open? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Schultz, I didn't see you.
Ms. Buck, I'm going to say this as polite as possible, but we have professionalism in what you did earlier, calling, saying you're going to go knock on our door, and then the way you just yelled at us. As one council member, I'm getting kind of fed up with it. I understand you're very dedicated about your job, but when we're in this chamber or bell chase, we have professionalism. We could have went after Mr. Hinckley earlier and didn't. We maintain professionalism, but please.
Let's talk offline on this.
I know, but it's getting ridiculous.
Because I've noticed some other things too here, so I really would like to talk offline.
Machine is open? And it's passed to 7 with no by Councilman Konovich and Dr. Gould absent. Next, thank you, Ms. Buss. Next next item.
Item O, an ordinance to amend the 2025 operating expenditure budget coastal zone levy general department and otherwise provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
Offer, can I get a second? Offer, can I get a second?
Oh, we're supposed to defer O?
Deferred, okay. Good.
Item P, a resolution providing for canvassing the returns and declaring the results of the election held in the parish of Plaquemines, state of Louisiana on Saturday, December 7th, 2024.
That's what we're on, okay.
And to promulgate the results thereof. Councilmember Edwards.
Offer,
Second.
second by Mr. Newsom. Any comments from the audience? Yes.
Clarence Brox, 156 Enos Campbell Land. Can anybody explain this to me? Because it seems like to me that we talking about taxes on property again.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
We have to officially, I guess you'll say, certify the results from the December election that we try to get the pollution control passed. So this is just basically obtaining the results, certifying it to the Secretary of State, and it's called canvassing, but it's not a new election. It's just basically accepting what we would have to do it if it passed in December. No matter what, we have to do it, basically. It's just a
The
formality.
preliminary
Formality.
formality after every election.
No new election.
All right. What did, I can't remember, did it pass or didn't?
It failed.
It failed, okay, all right, thanks.
So where we have come, we vote, all right? Yes. Next, we're on another issue.
No, we need
Let's
to vote.
A vote, yeah, call for the question. 8-0, Dr. Gui, absent. Next item, please.
Q, an ordinance to amend the 2025 operating expenditure budget, road maintenance, public right-of-way department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
Offer Councilman Schultz. Can we get a second? Second by Mitch. Mr. Schultz want to explain it before we open up to the audience?
Yes, just because it's a high dollar amount. For everybody's knowledge, this is one skid steer, 2 Ford Rangers, 2 Ford F-150 regular cabs, and 2 2500s for basically the problem department. So yes, it looks high, but it's 6 vehicles and 1 piece of equipment. I yield.
Audience? I'm sorry, Mr. McCarthy, I missed you before the.
I just wanted to ask if it's possible, whoever puts these together in the future, to list those things so we have it on record. Thank you.
Mr. Conovich?
Can I make an amendment to take the skid steer out and vote on it and not the trucks?
No, because it's all one, it's not.
I know it ain't gonna pass, but, so,
Are you offering an amendment right now, Mr. Conovich?
yep, amend that, we vote on 1 skid steer.
At what cost?
To split the vehicles away from the skid steer.
We have amendment, can we get a second? Is there a second for his amendment?
I'll second it to get, I'll second the amendment.
For discussion only? or
No,
for
second
the-
second for the amendment, yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Everybody get the vote?
Mr. Hobble, I'm assuming what you're doing is you want to just separate the equipment from the trucks, and then it's going to be 2 separate things?
Yes.
Okay.
Mitch?
So these are the replaced trucks that are in extremely poor
Yes.
condition?
Yeah, several times we've discussed trucks from these departments. We do these annual inspections, and every time they're over with, the asset department who handles all of that can't believe, they're in disbelief of the condition of these trucks. This is the worst of the worst. We've taken everything we can off the road, but obviously we have to work, right? So we have to have trucks. This is not in addition to other trucks. This is replacing trucks. And look, I have messages from today where they went down 2 trucks today. This is an ongoing issue. We have to address it. We pulled the money, we went through the budgeting process, we designated the money. It's not coming out of none of the special funds, the emergency funds, any of that. Again, this is like Mr. Kokrovich mentioned earlier, this is a one-time purchase. We'll be done with it. We don't have to worry about what Venture Global does in 2 years or if another company comes on board or not. Now is the opportunity to do it. If we miss our window, we're gonna be in worse condition than we are now. This is all parish-wide use. This is not somebody takes a truck home from Belle Chase and comes back to Belle Chase. These trucks are used by the crews daily, multiple areas of the parish, all parts of the parish. So, I mean, my preference is if you leave it on 1. That would be my ask. And same way with the equipment. I'm not sure which one he's trying to isolate, the equipment or the trucks. But either way, my ask is gonna be that we move forward with it because they're all in demand.
Well, one of my things is also, when these trucks keep breaking down, it costs us a lot of money. And then they put the operators on their way home, maybe not making it home.
We're at the point with some of these trucks now, it's not about the mileage. The mileage is a little bit irrelevant. The bodies are falling off the frames.
Not even
The
worth
A-arms
auction.
and the front suspension are falling off the frames because they're rotted away in most cases, not just neglect, and the bushings are bad, literally rusting away. These are the worst of the worst.
Okay, Ms. Conovich?
Well, the reason I ain't voting for another vehicle until something's done, you know, I ain't gonna say the department or anything, but I was at a gas station getting gas and they had a truck on the next lane running and nobody around it. And after I got finished pumping my gas, I went, turned the truck off, walked inside and asked, I said, the truck was running outside. Oh yeah, it's a parish truck. So if we not worried about gas or maintenance or anything like that, or taking care of a vehicle, because now the oil companies, they're not giving all the vehicles anymore.
No.
If you want to go to work, you drive to work, and then you get in the vehicle and you go work. But, you know, if they find out that you dogging the truck or misusing the truck, you walking.
I understand. I would just ask, we don't punish everyone for the mistake of that one person. And look, if it was one of ours, report it to us and we'll track down who it was and take disciplinary action. We don't want it to go by the wayside either. We want that activity to stop.
Mr. Newsom?
Yeah, in light of Mr. Wishes adding all on one, I'd like to remove my second.
So it's been motion, do we have anyone else want to second it? Second by Mr. LaFrance. Any comments from the audience?
Vote on just,
On the amendment, okay.
so to buy a skid steer only?
This is only for the amendment. We have 4-4.
So now we're gonna go back.
Now,
to
we go
vote
back to the original.
Correct.
Okay. So we have motion, it was motion by Schultz. Do we have a second? Because I remember. Was it second before?
Originally.
You keeping your second, Mr. Champagne? Okay, machine is open. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Friend.
He's gonna put him in the mic. In the queue.
Okay, I see we have 2 Ford Rangers, that's correct?
Yes.
2 F-150 regular cab,
Yes.
and 2 Rams 150,
And that's
1,500.
that strategic request because we know what each of those vehicles are capable of doing. We don't need a Ram 2500 for 2 groundskeepers that go weed eat and cut around a library or something like that. That's why it's strategic like this, and it's also parish-wide again.
Okay, we have the names of the automobile. What are the names of the skid steers? What brand?
Bobcat is preferably.
Bobcat? Okay. Talk to some of these,
I know.
operators.
We've had that
Prefer to
conversation.
have, Caterpillars.
Or
I
that,
know
right.
presently,
Right.
we have 2 of those Bobcats in the shop.
Yeah, we know there's a couple other brands too that we're not a fan of.
Yeah, okay.
It's based on state
Like I tell you,
bid
I
too. That's the other
don't
thing.
buy no junk.
We can't just go out and go pick whoever's selling whatever. It's based on state bid stuff too and who's selling what product.
Kanovich?
I was told, the one skid steer that the guy stood it up on the end and burned up the motor, was that a Bobcat?
Yes.
Are they gonna warranty the?
We're gonna be probably taking legal action on that.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, that's got nothing to do with brand.
Okay. Machine is open. An original. And it's passed to 7 with no for Mr. Kanovich. Next item, please.
Item R, an ordinance to amend the 2025 operating expenditure budget, flood control, general department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
Second by Mitch. Any comments from the audience? Mr. Clarence Brock from Enos Camel Lane in downtown Phoenix.
want it's, I didn't read it real good, but I know it is this going to be for equipment or people going around? What is it about?
Yes, it's trucks and equipment.
It's more equipment.
Yes.
Yes.
Is for flood control, one skid steer, one long reach excavator, two mid-size excavators, two mini excavators, two Ram 2500s, and one Ford Ranger. So it's a mix of equipment and equipment and vehicles.
I thought it was going to be for floodgates and stuff like that.
No, this is just to service stuff.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I yield.
Mitch?
Yes, for flood control, you know, our ditches and everything's all plugged up and I was talking with Mr. Witchers yesterday. You know, we have our pump operators, they're in flood control, but when it's raining, they're on the pumps. When it's not raining, they could be on this equipment, getting our ditches cleaned out, our culverts cleaned out, doing exactly what is called flood control, stop us from flooding. So I'm for this because I think, you know, these guys can be doing dual jobs and not just be waiting on a raindrop to turn on a pump. I know they have to do maintenance on pumps, but I do think that and I know the multitude of equipment because so many, I don't want just one piece of equipment that's gonna be in Jesuit Bend digging lilies when we need it down in Venice or Home Place, or you want something on the East Bank. He gonna vote yes on the equipment.
Dig my own ditch.
So I just wanted to say after being, sitting down with Mr. Witchers and going over that, I see this as we can get a lot more done because we can use the employees we have on hand to do multiple jobs and that's all I yield.
And look, on that line, in the update I addressed at the beginning, this goes along with this 2025 plan to have multiple peoples from different departments working on projects parish-wide so that we can get more done at the same time. Because right now, that's the position we're in. We have to wait for a project to be done somewhere else till we get something done with the one machine we have here. It's just basically about logistics. And it's not a Mr. Wisher's wish list. This is a department need parish-wide. You know, when the machinery's in your area and you see it, you feel good about that. But just keep in mind, there's other areas ain't getting done. This will greatly improve the opportunities for these guys to go out and get work done, and it'll be noticeable work done. This is not something, you see it today, and the next month it's back overgrown again. This allows it to be done the right way. Then it allows weed killer, bat wings to cut. It makes the whole process easier. Right now, the struggle is the equipment we don't have enough equipment as it is, and the equipment we do have is in deplorable condition because of years of maintenance. It's not what somebody did last month or last year, or it's 5 years, 10 years ago. It's been abused, it's got plenty of hours on it. This is, again, it's a necessity, it's not a wish list.
Ms. Conovich? Oh, I didn't see you, man, I'm sorry. Can we bump you to give Ms. Champagne? It wasn't on here, my list, man, I'm sorry. Kim don't like you, man.
What did civil service say? Because I brought this up years ago, that the pumper operators, if it's not raining, go cut grass. And, you know, if it's raining, the grass cutters can't cut grass, so they could go run pump stations, but civil service said no.
You were misinformed. But as long as they're at the same step, grade level, they can do it. And they can do anything below that. We just can't ask them to go do something above that. Pump operators, heavy equipment operators, all of that's the same level. They can step down and do all these other things.
Yeah, but their job qualification doesn't say a pump operator could run a backhoe.
I know, but it says anything else instructed by a supervisor.
Mr. Champagne, you're invisible, but we're gonna bring you on.
My question I had for you, Mr. Wishes, is how many certified operators do we have? And the reason I ask that is part of our maintenance problems has to do with, you just can't stick any Tom, Dick, or Harry on a piece of equipment. So if we do that, that causes the maintenance issues. Secondly, if a non-certified operator is on this equipment, has an accident, we're liable. So my question, first of all, is, I'm going to ask you about the long reach excavator. You said we already have one, that equals two. You told me we have 4 certified operators. I don't know on what piece of equipment. Obviously not all of this. I'm
Yes.
not opposed to us having this equipment. I want to make that clear. But I want to make sure it just doesn't sit in a weed line somewhere because we're buying it now because it's our wish list and it sits there and gets neglected. And number 2, we have a non-qualified operator on it who destroys it. So we accomplished the same goal, except for destroying our old piece of equipment. We destroyed our new one because a non-qualified operator's on it. So again, I want to make sure you understand, I'm all about buying equipment, but I don't want to see it abused or neglected, and I don't want to waste our money.
I agree, 100%. And ultimately, I'm the one responsible for a non-qualified or qualified damaging equipment, neglecting equipment in any way, shape, or form. That falls on me. So we are putting everything in place to control that, just like there was no maintenance program before.
None.
Nobody said when to change the oil, or if they even should change the oil. Those are all the things that we have in place now to fix all of that. Now, look, you're gonna have, something's gonna happen, right? That machine that went inverted, and they say this and that, you're gonna have those incidents. We just have, it's gotta be the exception to the rule, not the rule.
Yeah, I'm not, again, it's not.
Oh, we're good, we're
punishment.
good.
If you say you have a maintenance plan in place,
good.
I'm big on maintenance, and this is a lot of money. And I want us to be able to do a great job for our parish. But I'm just concerned about non-qualified people driving our stuff and destroying it.
Yeah, and look, this, if you purchase this equipment, this is equipment that will be around for years to come and benefit multiple administrations, multiple councils, multiple department employees. This is not something just for us for the next couple of months. This is long-lasting. And the assurance of a good maintenance program will drive that, right? If it's maintained now and forever, it'll last forever.
And my whole point of having this conversation, I wanted to hear you commit to a maintenance program, and I trust you. And if you say you got a maintenance program and you're gonna take care of this equipment, you got my vote. But I want the people to know that we're not just spending their taxpayers' money and just throwing it out there and whatever happens, happens. You're gonna take care of this equipment. We're asking about it. You're committing to do it. I'm good.
We're
Got
one
my vote.
team. We're all one team. I'm good.
I yield.
Mr. LaFrance, I missed you last time. I'm gonna do that again.
So this, this equipment, before any use, every day it's checked out. You have a sheet?
They
So
do,
where
they, they do have a sheet. Yes, that's right.
Okay, great.
Mr. Conover.
I'd like to get with you, and, because where I work, we have the computer system spits out a maintenance plan. If this boat's assigned to me, I got a weekly, a bi-weekly, a monthly, bi-monthly, annual.
Yep.
And if I gotta follow steps. And when we go to use that equipment, if doesn't work because of something I didn't do, well, I might be looking for a new job.
Yeah.
Where if it was something broke internally that, the operator doesn't do, we understand that, but.
So we're
Just-
not that
just-
advanced yet. We don't have a system to control it. We still on the dry erase board and paper and a file and a document. But you're perfectly right, because now that they're tracking, and anytime anyone gets on any machine, it's documented on paper. If you come tomorrow and use the machine I had yesterday and there's something wrong with it, in the past, everybody just points the finger at everybody else. Now we know, hey, Johnny used this machine yesterday. It's got 0 oil in it, 0 grease in it. We obviously know he didn't check it yesterday and do that. So we have all those backups now to help keep these machines operating as designed for as long as possible.
And how many vehicles was on this list?
3. 3. And look, some of these ran like this. This has 2 3/4 ton trucks and 1 Ford Ranger. Currently, we use the lowboy to pull everything around. That's not efficient, right? We can take a good 17,000-pound gooseneck trailer, pull it behind a 3/4 ton truck and pull tractors around, pull skid steers around, all. We don't, that's why some of these trucks, we didn't just go for the biggest, fanciest thing we could find. We went for what we thought we needed.
Yeah.
Cut me a break on this one.
And Mr. Konovich, one of the,
I'm not gonna
Set
say
yourself
dig my
apart.
ditch first, though.
and Mr. Konovich, one of the questions that I posed to Ms. Kim Bluck when we were speaking is that I had some concern about when a person go to work in the morning, take a piece of equipment out. Do they have a phone that's saying, when I got this equipment, this was all happening. At the end of the day, do they have a checklist? So the very same thing you asked, and that's the thing that I posed to her, because we have people going behind the other equipment who's checking what really happened. So again, I'm only saying that because the questions you asked, because the stuff is under my name, those are the same questions that I asked. Any other thing from the floor? Machine is open.
Cut him a break.
Oh! Beat the drums, beat the drums. No, my brother. No. Next, please.
It's an ordinance to amend the 2025 operating expenditure budget, Director of Arts, Parks and Recreation Department, and the Recreation Facility and Services Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
Second by Mr. Champagne. Any comments from the audience? It was Mr. Champagne, right? Okay. Your name ain't showing up, man, on here for some reason. Okay. Table, Ms. Schultz?
I was just gonna explain this again. This is for some office furniture equipment. We moved recreation and they had no furniture in that building. A Jeep Cherokee, some recreation equipment, two F-150 XL crew cab and one F-150 XL regular cab. If you've seen some of the recreation trucks, they are in some pitiful shape. So, I yield.
Mr. Newsom?
Yeah, the recreational equipment, that's like nets and for the, what, I know it's,
That's field equipment, so that will be for some infield maintenance equipment, so some conditioning machines, some graders.
Oh, okay.
Sand
Thank you.
buggies. Yes, sir, to improve the fields.
Mr. France?
Yes, the two F-150 crew cabs. Are they gonna be used to pull some of those zero turns?
Yes, sir.
Why wouldn't you go with a 250 instead of a 150? Oh yeah, man, they pulling like two zero turns.
Well, right now we have smaller trucks that they're pulling, and they're pulling well, so just trying to be cost efficient and making sure that we're purchasing vehicles that are sustainable and then also that are affordable.
I thought them.
Right now, we have the ones we're getting out of, they're two Ford F-150s. They're at 313,000 miles and one's at 244,000 miles, and I'm sure they're well over that at this
They
point.
just breaking in.
Stop it, Mr. France. Stop.
Replacing the models that they already have.
Be good.
Mr. France, are you finished?
Yes, sir.
Any, machine is open? And one no for Mr. Konovich, and 7, and Dr. Guri. Alton is approved. Next item, please. You drawing what? Okay.
Approval of the minutes from the January 9th, 2025 regular meeting.
Upper. Second. Any questions from the audience at all? Floor, machine is open. Ready. Mr. Schultz is out of the room. Okay. Next, please.
New business. Introduction of resolutions. I don't think we have.
We don't have any.
There are none.
Deferred. District 7 update deferred.
District 7 update and
District 9.
District,
D, District 6 update.
I got it.
Councilman-
Yeah, go
hold
ahead.
on,
Just
hold on.
item one is only moving.
Item 1, housing by the base.
Yeah, so this has been a ongoing project, Housing by the Base. I won't go into too much detail because it's not late hour. They do have a management team looking at filling the spot. They are targeting first responders, retired military, police, is where it's at. I do have a number for the management team in my office, so if anybody in the public would like information, please call the District 6 office and we'll get you that information. South Concord Road, we beat that up, and the 20-inch valve, we spoke about that earlier where Infomark found it. With that, I will withdraw District 6.
Okay. Mr. Schultz, he withdrawing his. Mitch withdrawing his. And we've already talked about G, that's what Mr. Morgan did.
Withdrawing it?
No, we already did.
Yeah, but-
Withdraw it, okay.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion?
Off, who's off?
I did.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Sheet is open.
France.
No, do it. We gotta get to.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Ford. I was too quick.
But it failed.
We cannot adjourn.
Y'all late.
Reconsider, please. Reconsider. Machine open.
Champagne.
They don't, oh, let's go, let's go.
Oh, you voted.
Let's go. All right.
We almost didn't leave.
Oh, we were leaving. I was leaving.
All right.
Well, no, we got court now.
Meeting adjourned, now the Pope at 6:03.